Hi, I'm Stunning Stella Cheeks.
And I'm the Enigma Erin Klein.
And this is Not Your Demographic, a feminist wrestling podcast.
Shockingly, those exist. Hello! I was like, are we gonna clink? We have real glasses again.
No, I just silently stared at you and waited for you to talk.
Hello!
Welcome to the podcast, Demis. Are you alive?
Congratulations on making it through WrestleMania weekend!
We obviously didn't go, so we just watched all the WWE stuff. I can't imagine people who went to New Orleans and went to all the other stuff and watched the WWE stuff and came back and watched Raw and did this.
Oh
and then, like,
Casey was saying that he had 10 shows in 5 days. Like, literally how?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like,
but you know what? That's part of the reason that I've never, like, really made an effort to go, because if I go, I, like, want to go.
Yeah, I want to see some shit. That's my goal.
Part of me was like, it's April 7th next year.
We can't go, you're getting married.
20 days before my wedding.
No.
Maybe I'll just make that my bachelorette party. And then I was like,
oh my god.
Except for me and Erin would be the only ones having fun.
That's not true. Emily would have a blast.
Yeah, but we would want to go to, like, all of the smaller shows, and, like, it would be expensive, and, like...
Also, Bobby would have a great time.
Okay, four out of however many.
And Taryn would have fun too. Let's get real. Your whole bridal party would be like, this is dope.
Well, maybe we could table that and revisit that. Because I even was like, Nick, can we go? And he was like, no, dumb, we're getting married. And I was like, I just want to go.
I was talking to Andrew about it.
I think we are going to try and go to SummerSlam this year, though.
Really?
So. And I also did buy insanely expensive tickets for Money in the Bank. Because I'm a good daughter. That's
right, you're taking your dad. I forgot about that. It's going to be fun.
Should message Lana and be like, hi.
Dude, you totally should.
Like, my dad's a retired, like, a war vet with, like, injuries. And you're high. Will you say hi to him?
You absolutely should.
You're like, I know we have our beef, but he didn't do anything to you.
Right, exactly.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
The eternal cleanser.
Sidebar. I went to see C2 this weekend, and there were a bunch of people obviously wearing wrestling shirts because nerds. And I'm going to say this. If you're wearing a wrestling shirt and you're not prepared to dude sweep me back or say Happy Rusev Day or, like, acknowledge the fact that you're wearing a wrestling shirt, it's not like I came up to you and grabbed your ass or something. I just said Happy Rusev Day to you and you gave me a weird look. Fuck you.
Weird. That's bizarre.
Wrestling shirts are not consent, but you could also be like, not a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
I just said Happy Rusev Day. I didn't do anything offensive. You're wearing the shirt. It, like, made me unreasonably mad. I was like, bitch.
It's a call and response. Hello.
Hello. How are you other than wrestling hungover? I'm actually not hungover. I feel like jazzed.
Yeah, I think
good. Because Raw and SmackDown were so good.
Raw and SmackDown were so good, and also I'm prepared for the fact that I actually have 3 days of wrestling in a row this weekend.
Oh,
so
shit, yeah. I have one a break and another one. So I have two, but I have a break in between.
Yeah, I got a whole ass weekend full of wrestling. I'm going to be wrestle hungover on the other side of that one, for sure.
Well, yeah, because the Shimmer shows are a beast.
Yes, very much so.
They're great and wonderful, but a beast.
Yes, absolutely. I'm good. I had a really good week. We had a great Plan 9 show this weekend, which was...
Great, kind of.
Saturday was great.
Friday wasn't bad. Here's the thing.
Here's the tea on this.
We had a really intense tech. I wrote it out, you know, layman's terms. On Friday night, the tech people missed so many cues. I would say at least 30, if not 40 cues. Like, 40% of the cues. It was bad. And I'm surprised the audience couldn't hear me backstage because I was screaming. I was like, play the fucking song!
Priscilla could. She was like, I was on stage and I could hear Stella yelling and I thought, do I just start my dance? I don't know what to do.
I didn't know that. That's so funny. I like couldn't control it. And I'm usually the one in the back of the dressing room being like, shh, guys, remember, they can hear you. It's, blah, blah, blah. You gotta keep your voice down. And I was just screaming in the back. Like, I lost my mind. Cause we've worked so hard on this show. Yeah. And it was the only weekend we were doing it. And I lost my shit. Cause it wasn't anything we were doing. When something goes wrong, whatever, it's live theater. But it wasn't in our hands.
And there was no way to fix it because we don't have comms back and forth.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
because it's a burlesque theater. It's not like a theater.
So watching you make Drew get out of his costume and go tell them to do their jobs, I was like, all right.
I was like, I'm sorry. Go. So funny. But Saturday night, because I made them step-by-step walk through everything, our show was perfect.
Yeah, it went really, really well.
And we had a full house and it was so good. And the show Friday, if you did come Friday, I'm not saying it was a shitty show. It just wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Right, exactly.
But, I had a friend in the audience for both nights and they were like, this Saturday was obviously better, but it wasn't as bad as you thought on Friday. Right. You were just upset.
And the audience.
I almost started bursting in tears after. I was like, I had to go in a corner and breathe and be like, you're the adult, you're the producer, you need to calm the shit down.
Yeah. And, the audience on Friday was great. They were responsive and they were having a great time. So it wasn't the tech killed the mood in the audience
But it's
either.
also just when you write a blackout sketch and there's not a blackout, or you have a very specific music cue that is a response to a joke that happened.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or when they pull the blackout before the joke happens, and that's the end of the show. I turned around and I saw Smyra walking out to do the joke, and I just saw her turn right back around. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm going to keep this mask on because I'm furious.
But you didn't. When the lights came out for the cues, you ripped your mask off and just went, what the fuck? I could see it from the audience. Was like, I'm just going to run up on the stage.
Whoops. Sometimes I can't control anything. But overall, the Plan 9 shows went really well.
Yes, it went excellent. It was a lot of, and it's just a funny show. It was just a funny really well done show, and it was well written. It was great. It was super fun, and it was fun to have a whole ass character written around me, which was fun as hell.
Yeah, you did some acting.
I did do some acting. Michael was like, he's literally never seen me act.
And he saw the weird show.
Yeah, I'm like, we're married, and he's never seen me act before, so it's been a...
And I wrote you a crazy character.
Yeah, and so he afterwards was like, I don't know if I liked that. You were good, but it's weird to see you like that. Yeah, it's a very different energy level.
Well, you were also a maniacal villain.
Yeah, who was literally screaming.
The tables have turned, bitch!
Yeah, other than that, things have been really good. I'm prepared for my vacation.
When do you leave?
Next Tuesday.
Whoa. Yeah. Wrestle weekend and then off you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, not this Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'll have Wrestle weekend hangover for my last week at work. And
Hilarious.
then I get a 3-day break and then I get to leave.
Hilarious.
It's gonna be great. How are you?
Good, wrestling and Plan 9 and this weekend in C2E2. This weekend was a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm back in school and I have to actually pay attention. Thank God for one of my classes, you're allowed to skip one of the weeks of reading responses. And I usually never do that because I'm I want to participate and I'm paying. But this week I was like, yeah, I have to skip. Yep. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned to my teacher, it's there for a reason. And I was like, yeah, I needed to take it this week.
Yeah, good.
I needed to take it this week. I didn't watch SmackDown, but I was following along in SmackDown on my computer in class, and I was like, we're talking about some serious stuff right now, and I'm choking back tears because Paige is back, and I want to scream because the iconic duos are happening, and I'm pissed that I missed the cash-in. Yeah. So I'm having a lot of emotions over here, and we are talking about some serious stuff, and I am inappropriately watching wrestling on my computer.
Yep.
My ethics class, and I was like, What wrestling merch are you wearing?
I'm wearing actually a whole bunch of shit. I have my Shinsuke Nakamura shirt on, because fuck yeah, heel Shinsuke, the best. I have my Carmella hat on, because fuck yeah, Carmella. And I also have my Paige wallet and my Paige
always
koozie.
Have your Paige wallet.
But I specifically brought my koozie with me as well, but I'm not drinking anything that needs a koozie.
Nope.
But I wanted to bring something because I was like, this made me cry 2 days in a row.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So I'm wearing a whole museum of shit today. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Paige This Is My House shirt. obviously.
Did you cry when they chanted, "This is your house" on Monday?
Of course I did.
Oh, yeah. That was what broke me. I was like, I'm tearing up and I'm sad. And then they just spontaneously started, "This is your house." And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, I cried twice on Monday Night Raw. I had the most hilarious reaction for Ember. I actually, I kind of forgot that it was Monday after Mania, and I was like,
I didn't
and
even
that there
think
were
about it.
I mentioned it to Nick, and I was like, oh, prepared for a good show, but Nick was sitting in this room with me, so he's sitting over there, I'm sitting where I am now, and Nia Jax said, "Ember Moon," and I jumped up, I grabbed a pillow, I started screaming, I started beating Nick, and then I laid back and just started weeping. I screamed, beat him, and then just fell down and just started weeping, and he was just cracking up, laughing in my face, you are ridiculous. It was such a guttural reaction.
I gasped so loud that I hurt my throat. I took my own breath away. I gasped so hard. I was so excited.
It was so good.
So good. There's a whole slew of good shit. And I, completely forgot that the Superstar shakeup comes the week after Mania, too.
I'm very excited for that.
Me, too. And, I like that now you get these, call-ups and returns after Mania, and then it's, a whole other thing that you have the shakeup.
For sure.
I think it's smart to do it that way.
I hope they never, reintegrate them. They, really should.
No.
They should have integrated pay-per-views. Honestly, it would be fine if every pay-per-view was integrated.
Oh, I completely agree.
But they should be separate shows.
Yeah, I totally
They fully
agree.
should
There's
be.
no reason to have the same roster do shit twice a week. It just gets redundant. There's no reason for it.
No way. So before we start in on the other stuff, just want to remind everybody that we do have a Patreon.
Woo-woo!
You can support us. You can go to patreon.com/notyourdemopod. I did ship out everybody's stuff. I'm getting on top of it now that Plan 9 and all this other stuff is done. And as part of our rewards, we want to give everybody a little shout out. So we're going to be doing this for the next couple weeks. So we want to shout out Brandon Schatz from Submet Industry Comics, who listened to our podcast while they're unboxing comics. So that's awesome. Our good friend Henry T. Casey.
Yeah.
Matthew Smith, George Stankow, and Tim, oh, damn it, Obel?
Sure.
A-U-B-E-L?
Sure.
Tim Obel. Abel?
Abel?
Tim, Cain, and Abel. We did it.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much for your support. Like I said, we do the Every Mania Every series. We're starting on a progress. We're doing some movie reviews. I'm going to release some backstage video stuff from the Plan 9 show. Not backstage, but some stuff that if you didn't go, you wouldn't be able to see. And maybe I'll put your monologue, your final monologue.
That's a good idea.
Because if you want to see Erin fully capital A acting, going overboard, I'll put that up this week or this month, especially since you'll be gone and people will miss you and you can see her insanity. Yeah, so we'll be doing that for a little bit, and you can always join and get a shout out and get a follow back and get a koozie or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And once you join, you get access to all the old podcasts too.
Absolutely.
At the level that you're donating at. So you can get access to all of the Every Mania Ever series that we've done up until this point as well.
Absolutely. And like we said before, me and Erin will be at Rise on Friday. Erin will be at Shimmer both days, and I will also be at Shimmer on Saturday. So hop over. You will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be there Friday, Sunday.
Correct, yes.
I'm working Saturday because I gotta make that paper.
Always.
Make sure you come up and say hi to us, take a selfie, whatever. You don't have to blow up the wrestler spots, but you can say hi.
Yes, exactly.
And we're not going to talk about TNA this week, or Impact. I'm so sorry. # We Are Impact. Clap back. Because I wrote a review recap for it for Cage Side this week. So if you want to know my feelings, go read that. Hilariously, I had a rehearsal Thursday night, and I came home and I was like, I gotta watch and write. And I started watching. I fell asleep face down. I immediately started. I fell asleep, and then I woke up at 7 and was like, shit. And I started furiously watching and writing, and I turned it in. I mean, what are they gonna post at 1 a.m.? They were fine, but I was like, oh my god! I immediately woke up and was like, watch wrestling, write about wrestling, watch wrestling, write about wrestling, because I fell asleep face down in child's pose. So I was so tired, my body was like, no, we're not doing this. So if you want to read my frantic writing, which I still think is pretty good.
I think your best writing is when you're like, oh no.
Yeah, that is definitely how I write. But news for Impact, Alberto El Patron no-showed a show because he's a little bitch and has, quote, beef with Lucha or some shit. I don't know. Who even knows? The reason is he's a little
because
bitch.
he didn't show up to shows.
Yeah.
That's why he has beef with them. Like...
And then he did it again.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
So Impact has let him go.
You just proved everything that AEW or the AAA said about you this whole time.
It's so funny because Kyle DM'd me today, and he is the one that usually covers Impact, and he was like, I was rereading your recap because I have to write it this week, and I thought it was really funny how you mentioned in the article, like, I can't wait for Alberto to leave again. And he was like, and then, like, 2 days later it happened. He was like, obviously he got fired, he didn't leave, but I just think that is funny that you wrote it, and they were like, he'll be gone sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's just get through this shit. So, bye, bitch. Because honestly, like, Impact has been really good, and I know I have a complicated relationship with Austin Aries, but his interviews lately have been like, we're trying to do something different. We're trying to bring companies together and build a different brand and not be competition. We're teaming up with Lucha and all this stuff, and it's actually pretty cool, and like
it's even smart. Though it's good business,
it's super smart. And like Eli Drake was in a promo saying like you get to see matchups that you don't see anywhere else. Yeah, which is great. They need to figure out a different way other than like showing clips from another show like in the middle of their televised show, because it just like doesn't work unless they bring their like own cameras and it's better and stuff. Like it doesn't work, or they have they have to figure out how to deal with that. But I think the fact that they are trying to do something innovative and they are teaming up with Lucha for like Cage and Johnny and Ty, like they have a lot of crossover, and like Sammy's on both shows, and what if fucking Austin Aries shows up in the Temple? Like who knows? Like I think it's smart, and I think Austin Aries is the right person to be the champion for that. Yeah. Because he has such a history with Impact, and he had that history with WWE and like leaving or like whatever. And then also he's just been in the business for a long time. Like he is somebody who's recognizable, but not like peak recognizable. And he, has respect of the people backstage, it seems like. So I think it's really smart what they're doing. Yeah. I'm sad that we don't get to go to the Zelo Pro show because it's in Milwaukee and I just can't get up there. But I think it's cool that they're bringing him in for that too.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the way that Matt books that show. He's just really good at figuring out who to put on a card to, like, make it compelling, and even though they're, like, a brand new fucking company, is clearly smart about how he spends his money and who he's inviting to do these shows.
I unfortunately haven't been able to go to one, but the next one that they're in Chicago, like, I'm hoping that it works out with my schedule, because I really want to go.
Yeah, like, I will go to any show they have in Chicago now, because it's weird because it's like a really intimate experience to see it in the like bar in Chicago, but it just works, like, and they're clearly very committed to building this promotion and making it work. And so like I agree, I think Austin Aries is a good choice to bring in. Like he's a draw and also fits into this universe that they're creating.
For sure. And with all that business out of the way, let's talk about NXT TakeOver New Orleans. We did watch this one together.
Yes, we did.
So we did our Plan 9 show, which went really well, and there was good energy, but it was the last one, so we had to, like, get all the props, and then somebody lost their contact, but then they found contacts, but then we had to go get alcohol, obviously, and then get snacks, and then we all just stood around for, like, an hour and talked, and then at, like...
We were waiting for the pizza.
Oh, okay. Then at, like, 11 p.m.
We finally started.
Maybe 10:30.
Yeah, it was like 10:30.
We started.
Still, very late.
But, like, I did not get home until, like, 2 a.m. that night. So, like, if you were following our Not Your Demo Pod Twitter, you should follow it at Not Your Demo Pod on Twitter. We're trying to use it more. We used it for live tweeting when we watched it together. Didn't live tweet it. We, like... post to live tweeted it.
Yeah.
But it was funny because
our watching experience.
I got sleepier and Erin got drunker and we were just like trading back and forth my phone.
Yeah.
We were trying to do sign-offs, but sometimes we wouldn't, sometimes we would.
It's like, is this tweet in all caps? That's Erin.
Yeah, I wish you could change like the color of the tweet or something instead of, but we're figuring out like an emoji sign-off that's like, that's Erin, that's Alexis.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Stella. Who is it? This Alexis
I'm glad it wasn't me this time.
Whatever, it's hard to have multiple names.
I know.
All right, let's start from the top. The NXT North American Championship 6-man ladder match. What? Adam Cole, Ricochet, Killian Dane, EC3 Bay, Lars Sullivan, and Velveteen Dream.
What a great decision to open the card with this.
You should always open with a ladder match.
This was fucking awesome.
I think unless there's like insane stakes, like they knew that they were going to do the turn with Johnny and Ciampa, like, unless there's something else that's going to happen, I think ladder matches are such a fucking good way to open a show.
Totally agree.
They, like, really are, and this really set the stage. And, you know, I don't even think it was the best match of the night. It just, because sometimes I think ladder matches can, like, blow up a scene, but I think this was just, like, it's exactly where it should have been in the...
Everyone was well booked inside of it, too.
For
that
sure.
was the nice part about it. And, like, it never felt crowded or, like, what are you guys doing?
I think it got off to a little bit of a rough start, but, like, once they found their flow...
It was also, like, a 45-minute match, so...
For sure. And there's, you know, 6 of them in there, and, like, I think, you know, Lars Sullivan's probably never been in a ring with EC3, and, like, there's that feeling out, you know. And Ricochet's, you know, been wrestling a lot longer than, like, Velveteen Dream, so there's, like, a feeling out thing that happened, but, like, once they really figured it out and started doing their spots...
Once they clicked, it clicked. Like, it was just smooth sailing for the rest of the match after that.
I'm, like, not a fan of Lars Sullivan, but I thought he did a good job.
He did a great job. Yeah. And I think that the setup between him and Killian Dane is very smart.
Yeah, I mean... Even in our takeover predictions for Cage Side, like, I knew that Lars and Killian were going to, like, cancel each other out. That's why you have 2 giants in a match. You cancel them out. It's either, like, a David and Goliath situation or, like, a Goliath and Goliath situation. Like, it's just the way it is. Yeah. I really thought Ricochet was going to win.
I did, too. I was very surprised that he didn't win.
Also, oh my god, I'm so glad EC3 is alive.
Yep.
I was genuinely worried. I, like, while I was watching it, I, like, went on Instagram and Twitter and was like, is he tweeting? Is he posting? Is he alive? Yeah. Thankfully he is.
Yes,
of course. Hopefully his face isn't too ruined from getting a whole Killian Dane smashed on him on a ladder on his face. Got him right in the face.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts.
He took a lot of ladder shots. Yes. And, like, not just like, oh, I got hit with a ladder, like, smushed, banged, smash. Like, EC3 took some terrible spots, and I'm so glad he's still alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also, too, want to point out how fucking awesome Velveteen Dream's elbow from the top of that ladder was. Yeah. Beautiful. Honestly, one of the best elbows I've ever seen. It was so good. We were talking during, while we were watching it, about Velveteen Dream may have the best classic elbow in all of WWE right now. Like, straight up. Like, Kairi Sane has my favorite elbow because
she's so little and her legs get up and her body, like,
gravity
folds.
In a way that doesn't make sense, but just like a classic Macho Man elbow, like, Dream drops it better than anybody. And
for sure.
That child is 22 years old. Like, it's incredible how much better he's
gotten. And his pants! Ugh. He can never give it up. It's so good. The gimmick is so good.
And no one else does it, so it's perfect. Oh, I loved it. And
well, Aiden English does it now, but only his own face.
Yeah, so a little different. And I guess Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis, but that's also a little different.
It is absolutely different. Like, it's not match specific.
Yeah, it's custom kit of my wife's beautiful face. Honestly, I really thought they were going to pull Adam Cole out of this match, and I'm really glad that they didn't.
I love that after he won it and was sitting there, he still did the, like, boom.
Yeah.
I listened to that on the way to work. I was in a weird mood, and I was like, I'm just going to listen to the Undisputed Era's theme song. And, like, point to myself and make myself feel better. Boom.
I also, like, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but spoiler, Undisputed retains the tag team. I really liked that they've never done a double belt on NXT. Because they can't. There's, up until now, there has been no opportunity to do
it. Would be ridiculous.
Yeah, the champ cannot also be
it's still a little ridiculous, but it works for Adam Cole, especially since he had such a good premiere, but that has, like, been losing.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, now that we know that Roddy has turned, Roddy is the one defending the belt. And so it's not even like Adam won for himself. He won.
Well,
and then
Adam is in the render.
Yeah, but Roddy has been wearing the belt at the shows and, like, coming out to defend it at the NXT taping that's happening tonight.
He is on the render on the, but that makes sense. Because they're taping now and, like, blah, blah, blah. Freebird!
Yes, exactly. And so, like, we can talk more about that when we get to that part on the card. But, like, I just thought it was a really smart and bold decision for them to be like, no, we're doing this.
Well, especially because they did that backstage segment where Adam was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if and Kyle was like, you got it, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got it. And, like, unfortunately, I'm stupid, and after the show, I looked at my phone and I was like, fuck! And I totally, like, spoiled the Roddy bit for myself. So, like, I knew that, but it was fun being in the room and watching. Because it was funny, because I knew that spoiler. And then I knew the championship spoiler because our friend Helena is new to wrestling. I can't be mad at her. I'm not mad at her.
She was having a great time,
Helena's new to wrestling, and she follows Aleister Black on Instagram because she thinks he's hot because obs. And she was, like, trying to participate, and she was like, look, Aleister just showed up in my feed. And she showed me a fucking picture of Aleister with a belt. And I went, Helena! And she was like, don't yell at me. I'm trying to participate. But I couldn't be to a whole room like, you fucking dum-dum. He has the belt in that photo. So I just like silently like steamed. And then like after Alistair won, I was like, Helena, this is why I yelled at you. And she felt so bad. I was like, I'm not actually mad at you. Like, spoilers happen. But, like, that, you have to be careful. Social media. Like, I did it to myself, and then you did it to me.
Mm-hmm. I stayed spoiler-free for the whole show. Which
Ben knew the women's, and then I knew the other two. So, like, between the two of us, we knew, like, half the card.
There's only 5 matches. Yeah. That's all of them, basically.
Which I like that NXT does. I mean, it's still a 2+ hour show, but they, like, really give these... Mm-hmm. matches time to breathe and feuds time to breathe, where like WrestleMania, by the time you got to Shinsuke and AJ, which is supposed to be, quote, one of the best matches of the night, it was supposed to be, it like wasn't, but there's the turd and we'll talk about it. But by the time AJ and Nakamura happened, I was like, I'm done.
I'm tired.
I did get re-hyped for Nicholas, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Nicholas got the loudest pop of the night. In my house. But whatever, we'll get there. Okay, so the next championship was the NXT Women's Championship with Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon. How did you feel about this match?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I feel like Shayna has done so much growing since the Mae Young Classic that it's like... I can't help but be impressed with her. I think she's doing a very, very good job.
And so much growing since we first saw her at Shimmer.
Absolutely. Even just the last year of having just watched her has just been incredible to watch her get better.
It's tricky. Like, I defended Shayna at this party because, you know, people were lumping her in with Ronda Rousey. And, like, it did in that moment. Now knowing Ember moved on, like, it's different. But in that moment, it did feel like we gave Shayna the belt so we could have this moment with Ronda. But... I think it's absolutely unfair to link her with Ronda because Shayna did work the indies and she did put in her time and she has gotten so much better talking and wrestling and like Shayna does deserve this.
Yeah.
And in a way that like, you know, we can argue the merits, but in a way that Ronda doesn't, Shayna does deserve this.
Absolutely.
And this wasn't my favorite match of the night. I did think Ember sold like a champ and I think that given the abilities and the setup, I think it was the right storyline. And obviously now knowing that Ember moves up, it makes sense. It was probably my least favorite match of the night, but I do think that Shayna does deserve it. And honestly, like, Asuka wasn't a heel. She was like a weird tweener.
Yeah. And
towards the end, she got heelish. But before that, Bayley wasn't a heel.
Right.
And I mean, before that, Sasha definitely was.
But that was
years ago.
Literal years ago.
And it was almost like Sasha was only a heel to Bayley almost. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, Shayna is a capital H heel, especially with the influx of the women. Like, you have you have Dakota and Candice and like some big old baby faces that, you know, we've seen Dakota a lot, but we haven't really seen Dakota. And like, they already have a little bit of a feud. Like, this, having your champ in this context be a heel, I think is smart.
Yeah.
Because Ember always kind of felt stunted a little bit. Not because Ember didn't deserve it or wasn't a good champion. Like, she's got some character things to work out. But it's just like, they need an antagonist.
They didn't know how to write for Ember as a babyface without somebody to antagonize her, which was a huge part of her problem as a champion. And Shayna was the right foil for her. And so I agree. I think it was the right move to move it to Shayna. I also think NXT does a really good job because of the way that their taping schedule works, that they're very good at teaching people with belts to elevate. Like,
for sure.
And I think Shayna
really... Or even chasing. Like, Shayna elevated chasing.
Yes, and I think that having the belt and having to cut promos and do backstage stuff is going to be so helpful to her. Like, we've seen what Just Chasing has done for her in the last, 4 or 5 months. To see her move up to champ and have to defend and cut promos and be the one in the ring who's, talking shit all the time, I think that this is going to help elevate her even further, which is great. Awesome. I cannot believe that these words are about to come out of my mouth, but I hope that eventually what we get is a Shayna and Ronda match. I want to watch Shayna beat the shit out of her, really badly. I want to watch her beat the shit out of her. I'm better than you.
After watching Ronda, by the time Shayna gets to Ronda... Yes. Ronda will be at a place to put on a good match. Because like Michael said in his interview with us, Ronda wasn't going to do a bad job. She didn't do the best job in the world, but she put on a pretty fun match. And, despite all of the feelings and stuff, if she commits and, they keep pushing her and she keeps training, she has the potential to be pretty good as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And so by the time Shayna gets to Ronda, you have that past and, they want Ronda to be a face, and, like, if Shayna, like, I don't see a world where Shayna's ever not a heel.
Yeah, agreed. Like, her eyebrows need to be drawn on too much for her to ever be a babyface. Yeah. Like, she just has that face. Like, she's always gonna be a bad guy. Like, the thing with Ronda is, I was pleasantly shocked by how good she did in ring. We'll talk a little more about, like, the criticism about her match, but I feel like, honestly, Ronda, her whole problem is that she needs promo class. She needs to be in NXT so that she can have the space to learn how to fucking talk on TV. And that's gonna be the big detriment. Like, Shayna's gonna get to her and be like, I'm way better than you at this, and I don't know how to carry you. Like, I think Shayna is learning how to carry people who, and having the belt will help with this too, learning how to carry people in promos when they're not as good as you. And I don't know that Ronda is ever gonna be great at talking. And so that's my big worry with that. And, like, I wish that they would just send Ronda to promo class. Like,
they might. Now that Mania is over, they might have, like, or they might bring a trainer. So. Like, if they want her to be what they want her to be, like, I feel like they're going to go all in. Yeah. And, you know, to her credit, it seems like she is all in.
And it does seem like she gives a lot of shits. Like, it doesn't seem like Ronda gives a lot of shits about a lot of things, but it does seem like she genuinely cares about pro wrestling, which is an upgrade from a lot of professional wrestlers, to be honest. There are I can think of a half dozen off the top of my head on both of those shows who don't give a fuck about being a pro wrestler. Like, I love Dean Ambrose. He doesn't give a shit about being a pro wrestler. He's a great pro wrestler, but does not care about pro wrestling at all. Like, Ronda clearly loves it, and like, that's why she's there, is because she loves it. So again, cannot believe that I'm saying this, but I do hope that they eventually give us Shayna Ronda, especially because they've piggybacked off of Ronda's name with Shayna for so long.
To be honest, my hope is that Ronda doesn't do anything else controversial, which, like, knock on wood, so that we can just be like, Ronda is problematic in her past, but she's doing a good job.
And is smart enough to keep her mouth shut.
Like, I don't want to be like, she's never going to be one of my problematic faves, but, like, if we could do, like, an AJ Styles and be
That's literally what I was thinking, too. Like,
they have bad politics, but they don't continuously do it. So we can look past it and just enjoy this entertainment. Like, that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like, I'm never going to buy her merch.
Right. I'm never, like, I think AJ Styles is a great wrestler. I'm never going to buy his merch. I'm never going to support him in that way. But, like, do I enjoy some of the matches he puts on? Yeah. Is he a homophobe? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's just part of being a wrestling fan, you know? But I have a feeling that Ronda will open her mouth at some point. Though, when Alicia Fox and her husband got into an argument over who knows what, Alicia was pulled from that match, which is bullshit, capital B bullshit. Because Alicia was probably right. Also, like, Team Alicia in all bar fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Team Alicia in all bar fights.
Absolutely.
He probably said something shitty, or, like, she was like, whatever. I'm not going to speculate. But Ronda didn't say anything publicly.
Yes, which was very smart. I didn't even think about that. You're totally
I thought about that, and I was waiting for it. I was, like, fully waiting for it. Mm-hmm. And it, you know.
Someone was probably like, I'm just going to take your phone away from you and just don't go on Twitter for a minute. Like,
can we hire that person to deal with the president?
Yeah. That would be nice.
Side note, LOL, Paul Ryan, you little bitch.
Get out of here, you piece of shit.
Men are weak.
Ugh, get out of here, you piece of shit.
For sure, he should retire because he's trash, but, like, how hilarious that he's like, I don't see my family enough. Bitch, you've been in the Congress for 22 years. You don't care about your family?
No.
You were doing this because your job got too hard and you were afraid you were going to lose.
Was going to lose. You
little coward bitch.
Absolutely. Also, we all know this motherfucker's about to take a cushy lobbying job and never see his goddamn family.
He's going to write a book.
Also, everyone get ready for 2024 when he's going to, wink, reluctantly run for president. Like, that bitch is young and is gonna run for president.
I will campaign until I die to make sure he is not our president.
I want him to be aggressively booed in every room he walks into for the rest of his life. Like, just
I would vote for Marco Rubio over that bitch. And Marco Rubio is also a little bitch. # men are weak.
Man. Given the choice between the two, I think I would not vote. That's, like, yeah, I really think I would not vote.
Marco Rubio's enough of a wiener that if you yell at him enough, he does, like, shift his opinion.
I'm so sorry, I'm trying to delete it. He's totally that
He's
guy.
Enough of a wiener.
He's a corn cob,
that,
for sure.
Like, he could be moderate if yelled at enough.
Yeah, Paul Ryan is just straight up evil.
LOL, Paul Ryan. The cover of my Twitter page is me surrounded by small black children that I hope will die because I don't fund their welfare or Medicaid or anything that helps them. I'm a dick. Not that all black children are on welfare or Medicaid.
That's what he believes, though.
Yes.
Like, he sees black children as like, you're leeches.
Yeah.
I would like
but
you
look,
to be...
I love them. Look at me surrounded. Honestly, the moment I saw that header, I was like, you are the worst of us.
Oh, yeah.
You systematically you are like, you may not think you're capital R racist, but you systematically take down government.
Stated goal going into politics was, I want to end Medicare. Like,
that's racist.
Racist. There's no reason to do that.
But then you put that banner on, you don't get it, bro. Mm-mm. Anyways, bye.
You hired 200 white interns, and now you have a header with a bunch of black kids? Like, okay. I fucking see you, you piece of shit.
They're probably trying to maul you to death, but they're just so small.
Right?
And you
like,
work
bite
out,
his ankles!
And you work out so much. Anybody who does things like, you know, Paul Ryan, like, looks like a daddy in his, like, photos and stuff. No, he has an ugly face. Would fuck Finn before Paul Ryan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Would fuck Finn over, like, everybody in the Senate.
Paul Ryan looks better with a beard.
Yeah. He's probably, like, freaky.
Hell yeah.
Also, I just want to be like, you know what, Dick Durbin? You are a great senator. Let's do this. I am proud of you on a daily basis. You were one of the only people that understood what was happening in the Zuckerberg thing. Let's do this.
Yes. Oh, God.
This
Talk
turned
about
into a
pieces
whole
of shit.
other podcast.
Talk about pieces of shit.
Anyways, NXT Tag Team Championship Triple Threat match. Undisputed Era versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne and the Authors of Pain.
Honestly, I think this might have been my least favorite match.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but
because it was like the AJ and Shinsuke, it was about the turn.
Exactly, yes. And so it was like, this match was really long, because they're all long, and because they give them time. And so by the time it got to the end, I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
I hope that we get some Pete Dunne, Roddy stuff at the taping. Yeah. Like, we have to, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
we absolutely
have to.
He sacrificed
He fully... You don't sacrifice Pete Dunne and walk away with your legs.
Oh, no, definitely not. He's gonna bite your whole ass head off, like, for sure. He's been training with his mouth guard and the belt. He's like, my jaw is strong. I will definitely disconnect your head from your body.
My jaw is strong. Yeah, I mean, this match was about the turn.
Absolutely.
And we've seen AOP in better matches, and, like...
And it also felt like... It was weird, because it was like, okay, Roddy and Pete aren't gonna win, because Pete is a champion, and Undisputed isn't gonna win because Adam is a champion. And so it felt...
Also, like, AOP's probably not gonna win because they're probably gonna move up.
Literally, why the fuck would they win? So it felt very like, who the fuck is gonna win this match? And so when Undisputed won, it was shocking because it's the first time they've ever double belted. And then the turn happened, and it was like, I'm immediately...
Well, the turn happened to get them to win.
Yeah. And so I, like...
Also, Roddy, you should have done this ages ago.
Oh my
God, also, Secret Slow Burn was helpful.
Secret Slow Burn, super helpful. Like, I've really come around on Roddy in the last...
And I think a lot of people have, and this was, like,
this
good.
Was
like,
you
do
perfect
that,
cherry.
You do the emotional, like, oh, my, you know, I have this, like, troubled past, and here's my kid, and... You know, I've been working so hard.
I fought for every goddamn bell.
I give the, you know, the Undisputed Era try to recruit me, but I say, no, I'm a good guy. And then to have it turn, like, after, like, being like, no, I'm good. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, so good. I love it. I think it's
smart.
And also, like, Bobby Fish is injured and can't wrestle. And so it just makes sense to move him into this team.
Yeah.
And, like, Bobby Fish is injured to the point that he can't wrestle, but he's around. Like, he's still walking around with his knee brace. Like, he's still backstage with these guys. And so I think having him as, like, an additional, like, yeah, I also approve of Roddy and am cool with him taking my spot while I'm injured. Like, smart. Super, super smart booking on all of their parts. And then later, when Bobby Fish and Roddy inevitably turn on each other, I'm here for it. Like,
that's gonna be a good match.
It's gonna be fucking great. And I'm just totally here for it. Like, it took me literal months to come around on Roddy, and now I'm all in. I'm totally here for him being he's a great bad guy. That's part of it.
Just better at bad guys.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
NXT Championship match, Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas.
This is a great match.
Was a great match. Was surprised Andrade did not get called up. Do people get called up in the shakeup too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It feels like that's what's going to happen.
But I do know that Zelina is wrestling Candice in the tapings.
But that's...
yeah.
Those
irrelevant.
happened today. So.
Yeah. I was 99.9% sure Aleister was gonna win.
Oh yeah, it felt inevitable. Like, Cien had a really good run as a champion. Like, it was shocking when he beat Drew, and he, like, I know. And he held it through a lot of really good matches, and, like, Zelina is so good and has, like, really proven herself as an indispensable manager to him, and that's what they needed. And there's not really any story left to tell with him as champion.
No.
So, I mean, he is the reason Johnny Gargano got fired or whatever. Like, what else are you gonna do here? It's, yeah.
Johnny's back. Like, who else is he gonna face? And also, Aleister is undefeated. His finisher is still protected because Zelina put Andrade's foot on the rope. Yep. Like, he would have won that moment. Like, he is the perfect foil to have for a champ for a ton of people. Like,
absolutely. And he's enough of a tweener.
And he's so exciting in that his character is like nothing else on NXT, that putting him up, and you know, we already know Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream was great, or can you imagine Aleister Black versus EC3, or Aleister Black versus Ricochet, Aleister Black versus Adam Cole, Aleister Black, like, it just works. Yeah,
and he can hold this belt for a defense and lose, and I'd be okay with it, because he's gonna put over whoever he gives it to.
He could also hold it for a long time.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say, like, anything they do with Aleister as champ, I'm kind of cool with.
Yeah.
I also feel like Aleister could be the kind of guy who loses it on his first defense and immediately moves up. Like, he doesn't need to be in NXT. And I think that this kind of
No, but I think NXT needs him.
Oh, I completely agree.
Shayna as champ, like, you need somebody who is, like,
who's
more
super strong.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I just think that it's, like, if they did that, I don't think it would hurt him in any way. And I think if they're gonna take the belt off of him, they'd be smart enough to put it on someone who could do, like, they could take it off of him and put it on EC3 and it would be fine, and move him up.
You put anything on EC3 and it will be fine.
Well, yes, that's also true.
The final match was the unsanctioned match, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh God, it was so good.
It was really good. I thought it was too long. This one I did think was too long. It was just like,
you were also, like, white. I think that you were, like, full
I did not
vertical.
fall asleep. I was super annoyed that everyone was like, "You awake?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fucking awake."
Like, I knew you were awake, but I was
leave
also
me the
like,
fuck alone.
You're also lying down on the couch covered in a blanket.
It was cold.
Yeah, this was, I mean, it was great.
I mean, it was excellent, and the storytelling with the knee brace and the knee and the, like, looking at each other, like, it was brutal. That, like, powerbomb into the cement. And everybody chanting, "You deserve it." Oh,
so good. And, like, I loved, too, that Johnny could have beat Ciampa before, and, like, was like, I'm gonna sit down and try to reach through to my friend, but was still prepared for the fact that he was gonna try and hit him in the face with the knee brace. Like, it's just such good storytelling.
Hot takes. How did you feel about Johnny's Thor Ragnarok gear?
It was fine. I thought that they both looked really good. I liked Tommaso's Space Pirate look better.
I like that he came out to actually no music.
Me too. It was so
Dolph
powerful.
Ziggler, this is how you do it.
Oh, it was so powerful. Like, yeah, absolutely. He's the perfect person to be like, nah, I don't give a fuck about your music. If you can't give me Psycho Killer, give me nothing. Like, yes, bitch. Absolutely.
I like the idea behind Johnny's gear because he does like the superhero stuff. I just thought the actual execution of the shorts, like the vest was fine. The shorts, the print was a mess, and it made him, like, there was, like, a thing, like, on his dick, so it just looked like, because it was the skyline, like, the Cleveland skyline, but it was, like, right on his dick, and, like, the pattern was weird, and it made him look weird. I didn't like it. And there was a lot of good, like, superhero and, like, pop culture gear this weekend, and this one was probably my least favorite.
Yeah. I honestly don't even remember what his tights looked like. I just remember his entrance vest. Yeah, so.
Trash.
Trash.
The vest was fine. Any other, what do you think happens with Ciampa now?
He's gonna fight Candice. For sure.
I fucking hope so.
Triple H had an interview the day after and was like, "Oh, people are pissed now about Ciampa? You just fucking wait." Like, what else could that mean? Who the fuck else could he fight that
and
people would
NXT is on their network.
Yes. And NXT is also, like, really experimented with intergender wrestling. And now we had...
Zelina hit Aleister with 2 Hurricane Ranas.
Absolutely. They're like...
Right?
And Candice has, like, gotten in people's faces before and has, like, made it clear that she's willing to square up.
Because it's fucking Candice.
She's the best intergender wrestler on the fucking planet. Like, and I think Triple H...
Lady.
No.
The team of them are great. You can't deny that Joey Ryan isn't a phenomenal.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
I'm saying The world's cutest tag team are the best.
But intergender. I even think.
Hello, we're gonna get to see Joey Ryan versus Sarai night on Friday.
Oh my god, I'm gonna freak out. It's gonna be so good. But I honestly,
am I the asshole who wears a Joey Ryan shirt at an all women's show? I'm in the second row. Do you think I could get the lollipop? I fucking want it.
Yes, I bet you could.
Petition hard.
Yeah.
I will stand up and open my mouth.
Yes, do it. Baby bird style.
I need that lollipop. Hi, Joey. This is what I'm wearing. If you want to give me a lollipop, please do. It's one of my goals in life.
Totally should. Absolutely.
Somebody was like, you can't put it in your mouth. And I was like, the whole point is you have to.
Yeah, duh. Hello. Accept
Is it disgusting?
Yes. Does it matter? No. I was going to say, I even think that Candice is a better intergender wrestler than Joey Ryan is. Because Joey Ryan is great. I don't want to take away from him.
Candice is probably like a better wrestler.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah. I think that she can walk into any match with any opponent and have a perfect match. Joey Ryan is much...
So she does have better matches with men than women.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think part of her being in NXT is going to be learning how to WWE wrestle with women. But also, like, if they're setting up for intergender stuff, like, just let her do that shit, which is great. But I was gonna say, Joey Ryan is great, and I don't want to take away from him anyway. But his shtick is also more comedy.
Right, that's true.
So I feel like Candice can take that best intergender Joey Ryan, best intergender comedy wrestler, absolutely, 1000%. Like, the boob plex is just a funny fucking move.
Well, she does the balls plex.
Yeah, I know, but... There's a difference between a man grabbing a woman by the tits and doing a suplex and a woman being like, here's your fucking dick, get on the ground. Like, so I really feel like that's where we're moving, and I hope so. Fucking here
especially with the Triple H Ronda stuff and the Mixed Match Challenge, it definitely seems like that's where we're heading.
Really, really paving the road for this.
Any other NXT TakeOver thoughts?
TakeOver's always awesome.
TakeOver is always great.
It's always fucking good.
I know, I had to warn people that were watching Mania with us. I was like, they are different shows.
Yes. Uh-huh.
They are different experiences.
Yes.
Just
get ready.
It's like reading the book and seeing the movie. You have to take them separately. They are different. Yep. They may be related. They are not the same.
Absolutely. Yep.
Let's move on to WrestleMania. The kickoff show. Oh, you owe me a bottle of wine, bitch.
Oh, yeah, I did. I totally forgot about that.
We'll just continue to drink my bottle of wine.
Yep.
It opened with the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Royale or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad they started with the men's battle.
We called it.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Hardy, but we did not call the Bray Wyatt stuff. How do you feel about the Bray Wyatt stuff?
I like it. I think it's really smart.
I like it too. I at first was like, oh, so he goes through the Lake of Reincarnation and doesn't have anything like physical change about him. But if you think about it.
But he did. Context.
When Matt went through the Lake of Reincarnation that one time and lost all of his memories, he still had the hair. He still looked like him. Mm-hmm. It's Jeff when he goes through, like, changes into all of his weird characters, but he just, like, lost his memories and lost his, like, whatever. And it seems like Bray has lost Sister Abigail in the Lake of Reincarnation.
Mm-hmm, which I think is smart. And also, like, he is wearing a different costume. And he did go back to his butcher's apron, which was several costumes ago.
Right. So and it's a different one. And also, like, he just seems like a face now. And, you know, they can build this up and it works well. And now they're like a tag team. And if they're going to bring Jeff Hardy back as a singles wrestler, which makes sense.
It does. And they really want him to be a singles wrestler.
But Matt in this weird, or not Matt, Bray fits in this weird universe, especially if they're trying to make it fit into WWE, which it still doesn't for me. Like, it works. And they can also go back and get Sister Abigail back into Bray sometime and like reignite the feud or whatever.
Absolutely. And also, like, when they were airing this, I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Bray's never been a tag wrestler. Not true.
Not true. He had the belts with Randy.
Which is like one of the most
Last Mania.
Which is one of the most I've ever liked Bray.
Until Randy Orton ruined it.
Well, yeah, also true. But like, Bray is actually a very good tag wrestler.
He is.
And so I feel like this is and Matt is a very good tag wrestler.
Because it's Matt Hardy.
Exactly, but like, Matt is also a good singles wrestler, but WWE is like, you're a tag wrestler, and you need to be a tag wrestler. And so I feel like this is a great move for both of them, that they can continue to remain relevant and have this feud going, and like, I like that Matt won. I think it was really smart of them to do that.
Who the fuck else was supposed to win?
Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck else would have done it? And I also like that. I like that Bray shows up and is like, I'm gonna help you eliminate these people. And then there's this moment like, is Bray in this? does Bray have to be eliminated? And they're like, never mind, ring the bell. Like, oh, okay.
I also like that backstage segment where Jeff Hardy, I like that Jeff Hardy is like walking the line of like normal Jeff Hardy and like can turn on Brother Nero, but doesn't have to be Brother Nero the whole time because like frankly like the Broken Universe existed without Jeff before it became Jeff.
Because there was no Jeff.
Right. And then they like integrated him in, but like that's, you know, what happened.
I also thought it was a brilliant move to keep Seth and Finn there. Because,
to be like, what the fuck, dude?
Because normally when you're like walking and chatting, the people just keep walking and then it's over and then the segment cuts away. I love that they pulled back and Seth and Finn were both like, what the fuck was that?
Especially Finn, who is like the demon. It would have actually been better now that I think about it, if Finn was like totally normal and Seth was like, what the fuck? And Finn was like, oh, you're a normie.
Yes.
That would have been better.
That would have been really funny.
Hire me!
Leather Jacket Finn is like, oh yeah, that is kind of weird. Because he also says, like, I only do the demon when I have to, like, bring out this additional side
but he would still be aware.
But would still, like, understand that, like, split
because the demon, if we're doing universes, the demon definitely exists in the Abigail Broken universe.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Undertaker is the supernatural universe.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know, they should be more consistent in their writing. The Cruiserweight Championship match with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
This was really good.
This was really good. This is not as good as I expected it to be.
It's kind of hard to live up to Neville and Austin Aries.
Yeah, it really is. Because, like, again, people shit on Austin Aries and he can be divisive, but Austin Aries is a fucking good wrestler.
Yeah.
And Austin Aries and Neville had a kick-ass match.
They also had a lot to prove last year.
They had a lot to prove, and it also was in a scenario where we had seen them a ton of times. Like, we had seen them at that point, but, like, tons of people weren't watching 205 Live, and also, like, they weren't having, like, a full-on wrestle every week feud, and Cedric and Mustafa, we've seen them wrestle a bunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, that being said, they did do a really good job. And that moment at the end where they did, like, the hug in the ring.
Oh, I cried.
So much friendship.
Ugh. Yeah, there was a lot of good friendship moments.
There were a lot of good friendship moments.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised that Cedric won, to be honest, too.
I wasn't. I called it.
Well, I feel like part of it with Cedric is
People chanted, please sign him. Yeah. It was inevitable that he got the belt sometime. Also, like I said, Buddy Murphy being the number one contender, it makes more sense to be Cedric.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Cedric is not 205.
That's what I was just going to say, is that I feel like they had this idea with Cedric where they were going to phase him out of 205 Live. But he's such a great part of that division that, by now, they should reward him. Like,
for sure.
He's been there since day one and really should get the opportunity to be the champion. And, Mustafa's gonna be champ at some point.
For sure.
But Cedric can phase out of this division. Mustafa probably never will. And so it makes sense.
Unless they got rid of the division.
Yeah, exactly. Or they were, really willing to do cross-divisional stuff, which
I wish they used the Cruiserweight tag teams as tag teams.
Yeah.
They should be the ones that cross over.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to add a cruiserweight tag division.
They shouldn't do that, though. They should just actually be a part of the men's tag. You don't need a cruiserweight tag division and a men's tag division, 2 men's tag divisions and a women's tag division. They should just do the cruiserweights are a part of the other tag divisions.
Well, I feel like part of it is that they have their own roster. And
they have their own show, and they're not on the other shows.
Exactly.
But they are on the pay-per-views.
Yeah, and so it makes sense to me that they have their own belts. Also,
sort of
in the same way that we had the problem with NXT, when there's only one belt, there's not shit for people to do.
But that's not true. They've consistently done a good job of giving secondary storylines.
But they've already done all of them now.
No, that's not true. I would disagree with that. I just think it's silly to have another belt, especially people love underdog stories, and if you're going to build everyone as being teeny tiny or whatever, I don't know. I just think it's stupid to have another belt.
Hideo and Tozawa and Jack and Brian Kendrick are never going to be champ. Straight up, never going to be champ. And you have to do something with them. They made Akira champ for a hot second, and we're like, no. This was a mistake. He could be a tag champ, and that would be fine. But unless they're going to add...
They don't have enough of a roster to have 2 belts.
Well, I think that's part of it, is that that's why they're doing the King of the Ring tournament.
But are they willing to bring more people into a show that they consider, failing?
Yes, because I think that this is what they want to bring that show back. And also, I feel like if you have the time to have its own show completely compacted that you could tape at Full Sail, you need a tag division. And if they're going to try to, like, where do we fit you? Do you go on Raw? Do you go after SmackDown? Are you going to be on the network? Like, they have to expand the division in order to justify needing more time.
I don't know. I mean, I like 205 Live a lot. Like I was saying, like, I went back and watched 2 episodes that I missed before Mania because I was like, you know, I've committed to 205 Live. I want to watch it. And I was happy I did because the Kalisto-Murphy match was really good. And the stuff this week was good. Like, I like everything Kalisto's doing right now. And the Tozawa-Kalisto match was really good. And I like the idea of it being Tozawa, like, Kalisto beats Tozawa, but then maybe, like, Tozawa and Atami beat the rest of the Lucha House Party, and then it ends up being, like, Atami and Kalisto, like, like that thing with the Shield where it's like, this person can beat this person, but this person can't be, like, a trade about. I think that works really well for them. Mm-hmm. And Kalisto's good as this, like, angry baby face.
Yeah, and, like, this is the right place for him, is in this division, too. And it's nice to see him, like, honestly, it's just nice to see people in WWE, like, I enjoy my job.
Also, like NXT, they get chances to actually wrestle. Like, Drew Gulak and Mark Andrews put on a really good match.
Absolutely,
so finally we're getting Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese, which would be great.
Thank God.
Also, Brian Kendrick is back and is totally chill with Atami, even though he broke his face. We're water under the bridge.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely not building up towards the two of them facing each other as the tag champs. Yeah, absolutely. I also, how would you feel, like, if it wasn't a tag belt, but was instead, like, a secondary belt?
I would feel better about that than a tag belt. The tag belt seems silly because they have tag belts that they could wrestle for. There's no reason for them to not be able to wrestle for them. There's really no reason. Because, like, 205 Live, even though they haven't been on Raw or SmackDown, they still don't feel like a NXT. They don't feel separate to me. They feel like we do SmackDown, and then immediately after, in the same building with the same fans, we do 205 Live. It doesn't feel like a different roster to me, or a different show to me. It just feels like an extension of the show. So that, to me, is stupid to have a tag belt when those people could clearly just fucking face the other belts.
I don't feel that way at all. I, like, if Hideo and Akira showed up and were like, what's up, Bludgeon Brothers? It would be, like, laughable. Like, they don't belong in those tag divisions.
I don't think but, like, in the past, before this division, before 205 Live, they would have. And it wasn't laughable. I think it's dumb to just because they're, like, quote, little, that they can't face. Like, David and Goliath stories are good. Underdog stories are good.
But I feel like you have to set the underdog story.
And, like, Kalisto, like, those were good matches. Yeah, Braun won, but those were good matches, and they weren't laughable.
Yeah, but I also feel like you have to set the tone that these guys are underdogs by being like, we're champions in our own right, and you just think because we're 205 pounds or less that we don't deserve to be in your division, and have to transcend that to just throw these guys up on the roster.
But why can't you do that without a belt?
Because there's no way to signify that they're better. Like, you have to be the best of the tag teams in the cruiserweight division to even get a shot at the heavyweight tag belts.
I don't know. I think it's silly.
They just need something else. And I feel like having a second division will make them feel like their own roster even more. Like, you can't just have it's sort of like the women. Like, you can't just have one belt.
I don't think the UK belt should be on NXT. I think it should be on 205 Live.
I think it works better on NXT because of the people who compete in the UK division. They're very popular with the Full Sail people and don't connect with the main roster in the same way. So I feel like it's smarter to keep it as an NXT thing that does bleed into the main roster every once in a while, but is, like, the home base is NXT. And I think that that's what will work with the cruiserweight tags as well. That, like, yeah, they could bleed, but they need to establish themselves as strong contenders within their own division first.
Yeah. WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale.
The main event of the pre-show.
Yeah. I thought this was brilliant. I thought that ending it, like, we all were like, oh, Steph. It's so funny because we called Becky and Ruby, and as soon as Sasha and Bayley came out, I was like, dumb. We're dumb. Why do we do that?
I thought they were going to eliminate each other, which is what happened, basically.
Right, but, like, one of them was, quote, going to win it. But that whole, like, oh, Bayley wants, and then Naomi shows up and she's like, bitch. And obviously, like, I'm such a huge Naomi stan. Mm-hmm. Like, there were not a ton of people at my house at that moment, but, like, people were still coming. But there were some people, and Bobby even, because Bobby is the first one to show up because he's always on time, he even was, like, explaining to people, like, that's her girl. Like, because I was like, yeah, fuck Naomi! Like, I would be wearing a Naomi shirt if it wasn't cut into, like, a really cute crop top. Like,
I was gonna wear my Charlotte top, but it's a crop top.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not quite warm enough for that.
I'm not gonna wear a crop top to my nanny job. I need to get I'm at a wrestling shirt fest, but I need to get, like, a Naomi regular shirt.
I need, like, another Charlotte shirt.
Because I have Charlotte has terrible merch.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that Charlotte has the accolades that she does and has such terrible merch.
I know, it's fucking
It's
insane.
absolutely absurd. But I was so happy. Obviously, like, I don't even know how to talk about it in, like, objectively, because I'm such a Naomi stan. Like, in all situations, it's like the New Day with me. Like, in all situations, like, I'm gonna root for them.
Absolutely.
It's just what it's gonna happen. Like, sorry.
And also, like,
I stand for these people.
And, like, Bayley's doing this real slow heel turn burn.
But that, like, she eliminated Sasha.
Perfect.
That was good.
And
then to lose, like, such a Bayley moment to think that you're over and then lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like...
Also, did she wear a bib to the ring?
I don't remember.
It was, like, the weirdest fuck. She had maybe the worst Mania gear. Don't wear bib. It was weird.
Well, I like this change that she's made in this slow burn of no more cartoon characters. It's all darker colored gear. It's much more solid.
Don't wear a bib if you're not a baby.
I mean, what can you do?
Not wear bibs. Step one.
But I also really like that Naomi's now undefeated at WrestleMania. Like,
Well, that's not true. She's undefeated for the past 2 years.
As a singles wrestler, she's undefeated.
Fair.
Which,
because she lost with the Usos versus Natty and whatever the fuck Cesaro and Tyson Kidd were called.
I don't remember if they.
I think they were just Cesaro and Kidd.
Yeah, I don't think they even had a name.
So she lost to them, and then she lost as Total Divas versus Blonde and Bad, because she was not on Total Divas at the time, because they keep kicking her off like the fools that they are.
Yeah.
But then she won the championship, and she won the first ever women's battle royal.
So as a singles wrestler, she has an undefeated streak, and like sort of in the same way that Asuka was undefeated, wink, because she had lost tag matches, and they were just like, never mind.
Right.
Don't look at that. Never mind. So I feel like kind of the same thing with Naomi, where they're like, we can just look past these other two.
Also, Naomi's bit on SmackDown with Natty was good. Like, Natty has been losing, but has been putting on really good matches.
Mm-hmm. She knows where her role is.
That promo Natty gave to Naomi was good.
Yeah. Natty's a good heel.
Natty got good on the mic. Remember, like, the whole fucking thing out of Total Divas was Lana
beautiful
was
day
like,
in Omaha.
Right? And that Lana was like, you're terrible. And, like, honestly, like, Lana and Natty promos, like, Lana has started to suck at promos, and Natty has gotten really good.
Absolutely.
Also, like, now we get a real build to Sasha and Bayley, especially what happened on Raw with the, like, you know...
Oops,
I punched you in the face, or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought Sasha was going to run up that, like, step and just start beating the shit out of her. You know, I know you've gone back and forth, but I like the slow build to Sasha and Bayley. And Corey's putting it over, and, like...
part of my problem with it has been that they're...
Do you think it's going to be Money in the Bank, or do you think it's going to be SummerSlam?
I think it's going to be SummerSlam. I think that they're going to keep each other from winning the Money in the Bank contract, and that's what's finally going to ignite the SummerSlam thing. I think part of it with me is that overall, yes, I really do like that they're taking the time to commit to this and, like, really put the work in between them. But it does feel like there are times where they're like, we have no idea what to do with you this week, so make it work, I guess. Yeah. And so that can be very tedious. Overall, I think that it's smart to do it the way that they are. It's just that WWE can be so inconsistent with their weekly TV writing that it creates this back and forth with me where I'm like, God, I'm tired of this. I wish you would just commit to it. Okay, no, this is great. You just have ideas. You just have the wrong timeline. Like, if this was NXT, this time would work perfect. But because every week you have to do something, it just feels like sometimes they run out of ideas and are like, I don't know, send her out there to accidentally hit her again. Like, okay, yes. And I think the slow change into the darker gear and, like, moving visually in these directions helps a lot as well. Also, Bayley doesn't have tube men anymore. Officially after this weekend, gone. Doesn't have them anymore. Did you notice that?
I noticed it at Mania.
Monday.
I thought it was not at Mania because it was on the pre-show, but I guess I didn't notice it on Monday.
Nope, gone. Doesn't have tube men anymore. They don't even bring them out to set them up. Done. That for me, like, the gear change and all this slow burn stuff.
I did not think about the tube men.
I feel like that is the absolute marker that they're committed to this heel turn. Like, the fact that those are gone. Like, that was her whole deal. That was her thing for years, and now they're just gone.
Also, like, fuck Pyro, but I really miss the steam.
Yeah.
It's not the same without the steam for Becky.
Yeah.
Pyro's dumb. I've never liked it, but, like, the steam was helpful.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, a steam machine's not hard. Also, they use fog for Finn. Like, just do that.
Just do that.
Like, that's not that hard.
So stupid.
Whatever.
It was also really nice to see a bunch of the NXT girls. I am patiently waiting for Becky versus Bianca.
Oh, man.
I'm patiently...
I loved the, like, juxtaposition
Bianca.
of, like...
I love the audience reaction to, like... Whoosh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Bianca.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It was fun. I was with people who are, like, casual fans, but are, like, familiar enough that they kind of knew what was going on, but don't watch NXT. And so when they heard the snap from her braid, they were like, oh, that's a sound effect, right? Like,
you're like, nah.
No, it's not. And so I, like, pulled up pictures of Kairi Sane and was like, this is what this bitch does with her braid. And they were like, oh my god.
Bianca forever!
Oh, so good. So good. And, like, I want to watch Becky wrestle people who love to wrestle like she does.
Yeah.
And, like, the women on the main roster obviously love to wrestle, but, like, Becky is a wrestler in the way that Kimberly is a wrestler. Like, like, Candice LeRae is a wrestler. Bianca Belair is a wrestler, and I want to watch them beat the piss out of each other. I'm so here for it.
I want to see that.
Ugh.
So now it's the main show. The first match was the Intercontinental Championship triple threat match with Seth, Miz, and Finn Balor.
I was shocked they started with this.
I wasn't. I feel like they always start with Intercontinental. It's either the tag belt or the Intercontinental. This Game of Thrones shit was trash. I hated it.
It made no sense.
It especially made no sense because Finn was like, LOL, fuck you guys, I'm doing my own thing.
What's up,
He's
gays?
Like, I only cosplay when I'm on my own. You two nerds are... like, do whatever you want. I'm with the gays today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been fine if all three of them did it, but the fact that Finn didn't do it, which, again, it was important that Finn did what he did, and they're, you know, he's becoming, like, the voice of the people, voice of underrepresented people. Like, it was an important moment, especially him, and then seeing, like, Sonya Deville's, like, rainbow gear is the only out wrestler.
Yeah.
But it was just, like, extra stupid that, like, Seth did, like, the White Walker thing, which is, like, that's what you choose, but whatever. And then Miz chose the Lannister, which obs. And then Finn was like,
gay.
Me and the gays.
Also, it was weird, too, that Seth comes out with these contacts and then takes them out, like, immediately.
There's no way. In my head, immediately, it was like, how the fuck are you going to wrestle in those dum-dum? And then it panned him, and I was like, yeah.
Well, they're the same ones that Roman used to wear.
I don't think they are. Those look like...
They're the same color.
No, I think the ones that Roman used to wear are, like, actual colored contacts, where, like, the ones that Seth was wearing were effects colored contacts, and those are fully different contacts.
Yes.
Because his were insane. They were dead looking eyes.
But that's, like, I don't know if you remember this.
I know, but they are different. Effects contacts are made different.
Oh, yeah, and, like, Finn wrestles in effects contacts, and Ember used to as well, which are, like, I don't
Ember
understand.
did not used to wrestle in effects contacts. She definitely wrestled in color. You can tell the difference. I think Ember definitely wrestled in colored contacts that were just a red color or a yellow color, because they can fully change the color of your eyes.
But she's worn the, Taryn, like, ice blue contacts when she wrestles, too.
I don't know. I think the ones Seth were wearing were, like, the thick special effects ones, not just the, like, regular change your eye color ones. That's my guess. Well, or else there's no reason to take them out.
Well, and, like, Finn has talked specifically about wrestling in, like, special effects contacts, too, because of the demon, and it needs to, like, pop from the paint.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and with Seth, too, it's... I was gonna say, I don't know if you remember this, when Roman was still being forced to wear his colored contacts, and
so funny.
And he and Bray had that series of fights, and Roman's contact got, like, stuck to his eyelid.
Ew.
And he had to, like, get a bottle of water and wash his eye out, and one of his contacts came out. That's what makes me think that Roman was wearing not just colored contacts, because they were clearly thick enough that they were affecting his performance. So I think that he may have had colored contacts like Taryn wears, but I know that he was wearing, like, specialty thick ones for a while.
It's so stupid. Why would you ever do that?
It doesn't make any sense.
I get wrestling in contacts if you can't see and you wear glasses. Like, you have to. What are you going to wrestle in glasses? It's stupid.
But, like, there's something about your eyes that, like, if you have dark eyes and you're wearing bright ass blue contacts, it's just disconnecting. Like, immediately people are like, those aren't your eyes. I can't deal with this.
I thought this was a really good match. I'm happy for Seth. He deserves it.
I think that he deserved it as well. I wanted Finn to win because I think Finn really needs it, but also, like, he did
Seth
get his moment.
And also, like, the next night on Raw with Seth and Finn and Jeff having their moment, especially after the Miz and Miz Scratch match where they, like, did all of their special moves onto them, even though the coup de grace sucks.
Whatever, I still like it.
It sucks.
You can have your wrong opinion. That's fine.
It's not a wrong opinion.
No, it is.
There are double stomps. It absolutely isn't. There are double stomps that are effective. Finn's is not fucking effective.
See, I disagree.
He almost immediately falls. It doesn't look effective. He hits but he barely hits. He, like, while he's in the air, before he stomps, he falls over. Akira Tozawa's double stomps, way more effective than Finn Balor's.
See, I still really like Finn's.
Finn Balor's double stomp sucks. I hate it. I think it's a shitty finisher.
You're wrong about the fact that he's unattractive and about his double stomp, so...
He always looks like he's dying. The moment he gets sweaty, he looks like he's dying. He has a banging body. He's probably a nice person. He's ugly and his finisher is trash.
Well, again, you can have your wrong opinions. That's fine.
No, it's bad. SmackDown Women's Championship match, Charlotte versus Asuka, the second match of the night, even though I'm going to say it was the best match of the night.
I cannot believe that they put this one in.
Was absolutely the best match of the night. Could have main evented. Shouldn't have been second. This is trash.
I don't understand why this one came before Nia and Alexa. Like, really don't understand it. I understand that they were like, this is going to be shocking and we kind of need to get it out of the way. But, like, really? I don't understand why they booked it here.
It's fucking dumb.
It makes no sense.
In retrospect, I'm happy because I was totally tuning out by the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I was fully invested in this. I also was the only one in the room that was happy.
I was happy. I was shocked.
I was happy for two reasons. A, Charlotte has these accolades. If it's gonna be somebody, I'd rather it be Charlotte than somebody like Ronda. I'd rather it be now than a year from now, which is what the rumors were. Also, the look of relief on Asuka's face afterwards.
Yes.
And their moment in the ring and the backstage interviews afterwards.
It was worth it. Absolutely.
It was absolutely worth it. I feel, we were watching with Ben, who's our friend, who is Asian American, and he was very disappointed because Shinsuke and Asuka both lost, which obviously, if you are an underrepresented minority, obviously you're going to be upset. But in my point of view, from not having that context and not wanting to use the hashtag Asian excellence, which he was like, I just want to use my hashtag and now I have to use it for Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sucks. Because I do absolutely get what he's saying. Like, both the Rumble winners who were Asian, who it was important that they both won and are from Japan, lost. Like, that sucks. But in a sense, I think that they were both let free.
Yes.
Because Asuka, her story, she has an incredible streak. It's still good. Who else is going to fucking beat that at this moment?
Well, it's also, there's nothing else you can do with that story.
Right?
She already beat the longest streak ever in WWE.
Era.
All you can do is, I think that she
didn't beat Bruno Sammartino.
Well, he was champ for 2 years and her streak was almost 3 years long.
Huh, maybe. I don't know. Somebody fact check that.
Because they said on WrestleMania that she had the longest streak of anyone ever.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because it was 860 days. It was.
I believe you.
Well, I think that that's part of it is that, there's just nothing else you can do.
Right, and what are you going to do? Put Asuka up against some of these new people and be like, Asuka always wins, Asuka. And then with the Mixed Match Challenge, it was so disappointing, but this was a good match. The Spanish Fly was good, and Asuka, taking Charlotte to the limit, because Charlotte sells so well.
Mm-hmm.
It was good, and Asuka genuinely looked happy, and then she had the promo afterwards, not in the ring, but backstage, when she was like, I'm gonna come back stronger, because Asuka's not gonna go from being undefeated to being
a jobber.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She's still gonna be fucking Asuka. I don't know, only time will tell, but it did feel okay to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I said, I'd rather have it Charlotte than Ronda.
Absolutely, 1000% agree. And I've heard that the rumors are now that they're building towards Charlotte and Ronda. And
which, whatever, fine. They were going to build to that anyways.
That's better than Ronda beating the streak.
Right.
Straight up just is. And also, I saw a bunch of people complaining.
And also, don't you want to see Nia now versus Asuka?
Yes, absolutely.
Because Nia versus Asuka in NXT was fine, but Nia was not as good.
She's never going to win, yeah.
Nia now versus Asuka?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I completely
Bayley versus Asuka now? Sasha versus Asuka now?
Absolutely. Where it's actually a competition.
Asuka might still win, and in many cases should still win, but there's actual
stakes.
Yes. That's more exciting. Could they fuck it up? Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
But it's also a little bit exciting now.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. I think that after match moment where they hugged was worth it. It was totally worth it to watch the women be, especially with the juxtaposition of the Nia-Alexa match that was coming up, like, we really needed 2 women to be like, yes, you elevate me and you make me a better wrestler. Like,
also,
they needed it.
Also worth it to make the cash-in stronger.
Yes, I was just going to say.
There were all of these rumors that Carmella was going to lose and this and that. So Charlotte breaks the streak. Mm-hmm. The Iconics come out to smack talk Charlotte, take down Charlotte, which makes the Iconics look great. First of all, they delivered an excellent promo.
Oh, so
Thank
good.
God it's still Billy's theme, because Peyton's theme was good, but Billy's was better.
Yeah.
They both look fucking great. Their tit jobs are great. They're still great on the mic. The crowd was chanting Iconic. Oh, I'm so happy for them. Mm-hmm. But they took out Charlotte, the champion, with all these accolades, who just beat the streak.
Right.
And then Carmella cashed in.
Yes.
Despite the stupidest ref in the world.
Oh my God.
And won. That made Carmella look strong. That made the Iconic duo look strong. Make Charlotte still look strong. Because it took 3 people to take her out.
Exactly. And she still stood up at the end and was like... She stood
up. Smiled at Carmella and was like, all right, bitch.
She stood up and I was watching with my friend who has no clue what's happening. Absolutely no fucking idea. I had explained what the Money in the Bank was, thinking like, LOL, she won't cash in. And so then when it happened, he got to watch me panic because I was freaking out. But when Charlotte stood up, I was like, oh my God, she's about to beat her ass and Carmella's gonna lose anyway. And then she fucking won. It just felt so good. And like, I think that they did a very, very good job of using the ending of the streak to elevate 4 or 5 different women. 5 different women. Like, that's incredible. That's writing that WWE does not do very often.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were thoughtful about how they were going to elevate all of these women fucking matters.
And the Iconic duo was the only surprise like call up or star or whatever on SmackDown. Yes, obviously Paige was a surprise because on Raw she retired. We thought that was it, and she became the new general manager. Which, like, interesting, we haven't had a female general manager in a little bit
since Vicky.
Wasn't AJ after that?
I don't remember.
AJ or Vicky? They were
like the same time. Yeah,
but like it's been a minute.
Yeah,
and Paige is so different from Vicky, and even though like Freaks and Geeks, like she's still different from AJ.
Yeah,
like this will be interesting, especially because she's very much a babyface because of her retirement and stuff. I feel like she will fit a role, a very similar Daniel Bryan role, because
absolutely,
she's essentially Lady Daniel Bryan.
She's that perfect person to replace him,
right?
Like, honestly is, and
so that was a surprise. But the only call up. Yeah. Was the fucking Iconic duo, which
overdue. So overdue.
But also, like...
But placed perfectly.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
It was worth it. I don't know.
So good.
Everything around the SmackDown Women's Championship and all the stuff that happened on the Fallout, like, it was done really well.
Yeah, and we had somebody... I'm sorry, I can't remember what your handle was, but we had somebody ask us, now that Paige is the GM of SmackDown, does it feel more like this show's going to be kind of lady-heavy? And I think it might. I mean,
it was this week.
Yeah.
Because you had the Paige segment, you had the Natty Naomi segment, and then you had the Charlotte promo, the Iconic thing, and the cash-in, which took up maybe 45 minutes. All of that
exactly.
stuff.
And, like, that's the right amount. That's absolutely right. And I also feel like Paige is the right person to be like, hey, guess what the women don't have? Fucking tag belts.
For sure.
Hi, here's the Superstar Shakeup. I'm bringing over Absolution, and there's a tag belt now. Like... Next week feels like the right time to introduce that division. And you pointed out, too...
Or at least to bring the people over and then introduce it, like, later.
Yeah, and you pointed out, too, that it's a good sign that the Iconic duo premiered with a tag name. But as a counter to that, they do that a lot.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
There's a
difference between a stable name and a tag name.
Exactly, and it's kind of hard to tell with the women, because it's, like, it's either 2 or 3 women usually. But, like, we had... Team Bad, we had the Submission Sorority, whose name I don't...
But those were also 3 people.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, in the same way, like, there are men's 3-person tag belts, and, like...
But Absolution now is definitely just tag team. Yeah. Unless they split up because Paige is gone.
I don't think so, though. It seems like they're pretty united.
Mandy and Sonia personally, like, they live together, they're best friends, so, like...
They have good chemistry in the ring together.
It makes sense to keep them together.
And so it's like... Yes, I agree that they feel like they've been pointing the women in a tag division for a long time, but it takes them so long to pull the trigger on anything that I don't want to get excited about it. But I do think it feels like
the year.
Yeah, it does really feel like the time that they're like, oh yeah, we have to. It's time now that we have to do this.
Especially because they announced that they're going to do another Mae Young Classic.
But haven't announced that it's a singles tournament.
And also we haven't redone a Cruiserweight Classic. I know we did do the like kind of classic in 205 Live. We haven't redone a UK Championship. And like, we've very much watered down the Dusty Cup. Like, the fact that they're redoing another Mae Young is, like, kind of a big deal, I think.
I absolutely agree. Totally.
Let's get through this next one as quick as we can. The United States Championship Fatal 4-Way, Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Rusev. It's a shame that Rusev didn't win.
He's so over. I can't understand how they keep ignoring him.
Why did Jinder Mahal win, and why did Randy win?
Stop trying to make Jinder Randy happen. It's not gonna happen.
You know what would have been better? Okay, I would have been fine if Jinder won at Mania and then Rusev won the number 1 contender.
Yeah,
because they have a fuck ton of history.
Yes.
You know what's not fun? Anything that Randy Orton is involved in. And you know what?
So frustrating.
Not every RKO is out of nowhere. You know, some of them are out of nowhere. Not fucking everyone is out of nowhere. And I'm sick of everyone being like, RKO, out of nowhere. They're not all out of nowhere. He sets them up.
Yeah, it's really obvious when he sets them up because he's a giant. And so he's like, I'm going to lean backwards and grab your hand. Like, okay, we see that this is coming.
Get out of here, Randy. Go back to the sea where you belong.
Also, like, I would just like to point out that when Paige was like, Daniel Bryan's first match back is going to be with
everyone immediately chanted Rusev Day.
Like, and watching Shane and Paige's faces when that happened of like, oh, we were not expecting that. That was not what we expected.
I love that the audience was like, you want us to say AJ? Okay, wait, let's reset. AJ Styles.
Right, and then she paused again and they were like, Nakamura? We don't know. Who are we supposed to be chanting?
What are we supposed to do?
And also, Rusev is now going to face The Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Like, I saw that announcement and literally did the white guy blink. Like,
what? They better do something with Rusev because he fucking deserves it. And Aiden also deserves it. And you know, put Lana in the fucking stable.
I need to address briefly how fucking legendary it was that Aiden English participated in the men's battle royale,
shaved his head,
groomed his beard, and had a full kit glow up. Like, whoa, that was great. He walked out and I was like, oh, daddy up Aiden, good damn, I cannot believe. It was, and also like, what a theater kid legend to do that shit halfway through the show. Like, I
made some tweet that was like, let's all take a moment and give Simon Gotch credit for being an absolute dick and giving us Aiden English.
Oh my god, the best glow up. I'm just so...
Somebody was like, I don't think Simon Gotch was that much of a dick, and I was like, who cares?
He got fired for fighting backstage.
In this context, he is a dick, and he gave us Aiden English, and we praise him. Thank you, Simon Gotch.
Yes. Praise be on Rusev Day.
Yeah, praise be. Because you were a dick, we were all blessed with Aiden English.
Just the best. And that fucking coat he was wearing was beautiful.
And the fucking pants with his face on it.
So good. So good. I love it. I'm so happy for Aiden English. Like, this man deserves it. He's fucking talented. I love it. I think it's great. And also, yes, add Lana to their stable. Why have you not done that?
Aiden can still be the mouthpiece.
Yeah, just have Lana be out like, I used to be a manager, now they're teaching me how to wrestle. I'm a hilarious doofus. That's fine!
And have them come out for her matches.
Yes, exactly.
It's so stupid.
It makes no sense why they don't
Lana has worked hard, and it does show, and she deserves to be used better, and she's not going to be used better in the context of the women's division now, but she could be used well if she was part of a stable.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Mixed tag match. Steph McMahon and Triple H versus Angle and Ronda. Here's the thing. I will never not have a hard-on for Stephanie McMahon.
Agreed. I totally agree.
She is my problematic, like, Republican hottie. Like, I love her. She's so good at her job. Mm-hmm. She's so good at everything she does. Is she problematic? Does she make bad choices sometimes? Yeah. But her Mania entrances are the best, and Stephanie McMahon is the best, and I can't not like her.
And her gear looked great. She looked
good. She even said something super problematic on Monday, and I was like, I still love you.
I also loved that she was, like, such a shitty little heel. Like, she's running around, swiping people's legs, like, scuttling. I love that she was like, I'm gonna run over here, and I'm gonna just, like, swipe at you, and then, like, scuttle back. Like, I just loved it. I thought they did such a good job of setting up Stephanie as someone who deserved to get her ass kicked.
Also, this match was not short.
No, it wasn't. And I thought they did a very good job of keeping Ronda on the outside until basically they were ready for her to win, right. Which was smart.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Ronda and Stephanie had moments, and it was clear that when Ronda first started, we were all like, whoa, this is rough. Like, that exploder was rough, but, like, I think it wasn't that Ronda doesn't know what she's doing. Like, obviously a little bit of that, but I think Ronda was just, like, excited.
Yeah.
And there was, there's 70,000 people there, and, like, there's never 70,000 people at a UFC match.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just different, and, like, but once she, like, settled in, like, it turned into a good match.
And honestly, like,
Angle and Triple H have this history. I don't know.
And honestly, the worst part about Ronda wasn't even her wrestling. It was just that her gear wasn't good.
Because she kept digging out her camel toe.
She had to keep pulling her pants down and pulling her top down.
Didn't she do that in UFC, though, too? Didn't she, constantly tug at her vag?
She tugged at her pants a lot because you just move differently. And so in MMA, it made a little more sense where you can, back up and, okay, I'm gonna take a second. It's still very distracting, but, wasn't quite as egregious as in wrestling. I feel like the biggest problem with her gear was that it was clear she'd never wrestled in it.
Yeah.
And if she had just wrestled once, she would have been this looks great, and visually is the look I'm going for, but, clearly didn't understand, you can't wear shorts like that when you wrestle because you move your legs too much. And so you're just gonna shoot that shit straight up your vagina. There's just no way to avoid it.
She still wanted to do the UFC bit.
Yeah, and okay.
No, I'm glad it wasn't just UFC gear.
Yeah.
Was it dumb? Was it too much of a callback to Roddy? Yeah, but at least it was gear.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like her next gear will be better. And that's just, you can't learn those things unless you wrestle. And this was her first wrestling match.
Yeah.
And for a first match, great. There are very few people who can say they have first matches that are that good.
I mean, it's Ronda. She is athletic. She didn't get here for no reason.
Mm-hmm. And her body is beat to shit in lots of ways, and her shelf life is probably short, and so the fact that she's committing as fully as she is good. That is a good thing. It was a
surprisingly good match. I was prepared. I even told, because people are shit-talking her, because, Helena, our friend who's new to wrestling, obviously has a lot of opinions about Ronda, because, everybody has an opinion about Ronda, but she was saying things like, oh, this bitch doesn't know how to wrestle, and I was like, here's the thing, everybody in this room, she's gonna be better than you think she is, so just be prepared for that. Don't go into this match, thinking she's gonna be bad, because it's gonna ruin the match for you. She's not gonna be the best wrestler you see tonight, but, I
had dirt floor expectations, so there was no way she could be as bad as I was expecting, basically. And
my
so
dirt floor is Eva, and nobody's gonna be as bad as her. Lana wasn't as bad as her.
But Eva had character in a way that Ronda doesn't.
Eventually.
Yeah, true. Once Eva...
Hard side-eye on that.
Well, once Eva was allowed to have control over her own creative...
Theoretically, the storyline they wrote for Total Divas.
Yeah. I'm going
to side-eye a lot of what you're saying on Eva, but I'm just saying, it also took her years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that that's not true.
I thought the follow-up on Monday Night Raw, too, especially since it was the opening segment, it's the first thing that we see after WrestleMania, is Stephanie being this sycophant, coming out with her arm and being like, Ronda, I knew I just needed to push you.
My friend, Ronda Rousey.
I knew I just needed to push you. We did this together. Such a typical Stephanie, bullshit move. And then for Ronda to immediately put her back into the armbar, and Steph sold that shit. She was like, oh God, no!
Yeah, she did a great job. And smart as fuck to not have Ronda say anything.
Also smart as fuck to continue this feud while Ronda gets better.
Yes.
If you want to redo Stone Cold and Vince, but the lady version, this is the way to do it.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
And it's working.
Yeah.
Again, I saw some people on Twitter be like, you all are saying that, Ronda did better than you thought, but, don't forget who she is, this, that, and the other thing. And, yeah, she's always going to be who she is.
Literally
but
take
again,
a step back on everyone on wrestling.
It's fucking wrestling. You have to draw your lines in the sand. And, if I'm going to have to see Ronda Rousey packages every fucking week, I am not emotionally capable of being pissed every second of the day.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
I rather just think of best case scenarios and be like, you know what, this is, fun. And as long as Ronda doesn't open her mouth and ruin shit,
if she continues this feud with Stephanie, she's not taking a spot from someone else.
She's absolutely not.
Which is, as we said before, the right way to do this. Because the second you throw her in and make her beat somebody that people like better, it's over. It just is.
And I think they understand that.
Yeah, and they really, really wanted to use this angle to get Stephanie over in the mainstream, and they're fucking doing it. It's working.
Stephanie forever! Woo! SmackDown Tag Team Championships Triple Threat, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Usos, and the New Day.
This match was short.
It was short. I do want to take a moment. So the New Day came out with little people dressed as pancakes, coming out with them. Mm-hmm. I just want to hear your opinions about what was your reaction?
I really liked it.
Side note, I went to let our neighbors know that we were being loud and give them our number and stuff. So by the time I came back, the New Day was halfway through their entrance, and everyone was the New Day, and then somebody was I don't know. So I did not see the full thing, but I just got people's opinions as I walked back in. So go.
Okay, I really liked it. I thought that they used them very well. It fit into the story the whole thing with the New Day is that they're cartoon characters. And so it felt like a very cartoon thing to have these little people join them in these pancake costumes. And also, I understand that there's... The WWE writes very poorly for little people and dwarves, like...
Historically,
because they're shitty. But...
WWE is shitty, not little people.
No, yeah, sorry, that's not what I meant at all. Because WWE writes shitty for these kind of people.
Definitely historically.
Historically, yes. But... little people have a very deep history in wrestling, and so to just pretend like they shouldn't be involved at all is fucking insulting.
Little people have a very deep history in performance and performance art. And
absolutely.
I understand people, especially wrestling fans, getting their hackles up to when they see little people to think that it's exploitation and that, you know, it's not a good storyline. And somebody at the party was like, this should just be kids. But that
kids can't do the worm in sync.
First of all, well, that, and also that completely takes the agency away from people who are actors and performers and deserve to have jobs. Those people got paid. They didn't actually have to do anything humiliating.
No, not at all. They were great. They did a very good job.
The New Day look ridiculous all the time.
Yes, like, absolutely.
It's not like they were being made fun of because they're pancakes and the New Day was like very seriously, and like the New Day are stupid.
Exactly.
They absolutely jumped out of a cardboard time machine one time and they pour pancakes on people. Like the New Day are fully in on the joke and are also, they filmed a 13-minute video of peck dancing. Like, they're weird and silly. And so it didn't, to me, feel like, oh, we're making fun of little people, we're exploiting little people. It just felt like, it almost felt like we're writing a role that little people can do in a non-exploitive way. It was almost like a weird rewrite a little bit. And they looked like they were having fucking fun.
Not for a single minute did I feel like it was exploitive.
I didn't either.
Absolutely not.
And I'm not invalidating people's opinions because I understand the gut reaction in WWE's history.
Exactly.
And if you're a little person and you had a different experience, like...
reach out to us. I want to know what you think.
That's absolutely valid. Yeah. It's just, like, from my perspective, especially... And it's hard because, like, again, I am a New Day stan, but I don't think those three people specifically would do something exploitive on purpose or think about it in that way.
Yeah. And
I really, truly don't.
And... again, I really think it's important to point out, too, that, like, little people have a place in wrestling. And so just to be like...
and entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. And so just to be like, oh, the fact that they're using them at all is bad. That's a bad thing to think. Because
it absolutely strips them of agency.
Exactly. If your immediate reaction is, there's no way they're okay with this, like... you need to re-examine how you feel about little people and their own effect on their own agency. And so I think that they did a very good job of integrating them. And it felt like the right way to use all of these people. And also, like you said, they got paid. Like, they had to put out a casting call for all of these people, and all of them got paid.
We just watched WrestleMania 3, and we talked about this on the Patreon, and there was a match with King Kong Bundy and two little people, and
Hillbilly Jim
and two little people. And I don't remember all their names, but it was Little Beaver and Lord something, and so... It was billed as a mixed tag, and were there some, like, wonky bits? Yeah, like, King Kong Bundy, like, smushed one of them with his giant body, but
was a bad guy immediately
guy, and all of those little, like, the little people, like, actually got a chance to wrestle, and, like, we talked about it, like, it seemed like it would be really exploitive, and commentary sometimes said things that were, like, not great, but, like, the actual stuff in the ring, like, the wrestlers looked really good, and they deserve to be taken seriously, and I think writing them off makes it seem like they're not taken seriously, and that's not fair.
There's a really good documentary on Netflix. I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look it up and post it on our Twitter. But it talks about Mexican wrestling and masked wrestlers. And one of they do 3 different people. They talk about, like, old history of masked wrestlers and new history. And the middle section is about little people in masked wrestling. And they follow El Mascarita Sagrado from
Lucha.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that he's been around forever.
Who is great. Is taken seriously a lot, but also does a bunch of comedy spots.
Yeah, and
so, is also fucking great. And that pizza rolls in the basement of Seven Havoc's house.
And I thought that this it's only like an hour and a half too, so I would really recommend watching
it. On Netflix?
Yeah.
We'll have to link it.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up so we can include it. But I thought they did such a good job inside of that of explaining, like, exactly what we're talking about, where, like, there is agency inside of this, and I want to be a part of it, and just because I'm a little person doesn't mean, like, I should just be shut out of this industry completely. And so it was nice to see little people in a, like, you guys deserve to be here. Absolutely. And I wish that WWE could find a way to write little people in, because it's part of wrestling history, and, like, that they could do it in a way that didn't immediately feel like, I'm disgusted by how you're treating these people, is a big step, a huge step. And New Day was the right people to be associated with it.
And again, like, we are two people who are not little people, and we are speaking from what we perceive. Like, there are other people, especially if you are a little person, that could perceive it differently. But, like, this is just our perspective.
Right, exactly.
I just want to, like, know that, like, other people's experiences are valid. Anyways, the match was fine. It was short and weird, and the Bludgeon Brothers won because we knew they were going to win.
Yeah, they had to win.
Both the tag matches were like... See, I don't think... We'll get to it, but I don't think the Raw tag match was a throwaway for other reasons. This one felt like, we know what's going to happen, let's just do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, it was inevitable. There's no way
Which is, like, a little bit of a disappointment because it was the Usos' first main card. But at least they're on the main card. And they won the number one contendership.
Exactly.
So they are going to face the Bludgeon Brothers in a one-on-one. But, like, it's weird because the SmackDown champ, like, it was Usos and New Day over and over again, which, don't get me wrong, they put on great matches. They put on a great match on Tuesday night. But, like, we need to mix it up. And if we're not going to take Fashion Police seriously, and we're not going to take the Ascension seriously, and we have to deal with the fucking Bludgeon Brothers, like... whatever.
Also, it feels inevitable that New Day is being moved to Raw.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Like,
you gotta split the Usos and the New Day up at this point.
There's nothing you can do with them anymore, and if they're on the same brand, that's the story. Yep. You can't have them on this.
That's a good point.
And so it feels very much like they're like, okay, Usos, you stay over here because you're the people who belong here.
That's a really good point
and
that
New
I
Day,
didn't even think about.
The Raw division is bullshit. They literally threw it away at me.
But you got AOP now, and the Revival looks really good, and you have Matt and Bray now.
But I want to see AOP versus New Day. Like,
oh, I want that too.
Yes! And, like, there's all of these tag teams that the New Day has...
AOP's sans Paul Ellering.
I was really surprised by that.
You know that Paul Ellering was like, called them up, big fans of them, loved working with them. I'll not be working that schedule. You can write me off of TD.
LOL, bye. Although, apparently, that's not what happened.
Oh, really? Because that's definitely what it felt like. It felt like Paul Ellering being like, I'm old, bye.
Rachel Ellering posted about it and was like, I'm offended that they did this to you. And he didn't respond to it, and a bunch of people tried to engage her, like, oh, well, he probably didn't want to do the tour. And she was like, you can think that if you want. And was like...
I thought Rachel Ellering and her dad, like, hated each other.
They didn't start having a relationship again until she got brought in for the Mae Young Classic. They hadn't spoken for like 5 years until they met backstage at WWE.
He's a little bitch, because men are weak!
Although, I will say, like, yes, hard agree, but his reasons for, like, separating from her made a lot of sense. So, I understand that he was like,
fine, whatever.
You have to do this on your own, otherwise you will always be my daughter. And so I like that.
Okay, but you can still, like, talk to your daughter.
Yeah,
you don't have to be, like, trash about it.
I agree. But also, old school wrestler, that's part of who they are. Like,
whatever, I don't care.
But, like, I thought the same thing, where I was like, oh, he doesn't want to do this touring schedule. And then to hear this, like, tea from his daughter of, like, yeah, I don't know about all of this, is
maybe
kind
Vince
of weird.
Is just like, I hate him.
I mean, you've been around longer than I have. Bye! I can't deal with you.
I know.
But also, like, Paul Ellering should not be touring 300 days a year.
No. I mean, none of them should be touring 3 days.
Completely agree. And, like, I think it is the right decision to separate them because they do need to learn to work on their own.
Sink or swim.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're either gonna make it or you're gonna be another The Ascension. And, like, that's fine if that's who you are, but you have to figure it out right now.
I can't imagine that they are as funny as The Ascension.
I would love to find out that they're fucking hilarious.
That's true. We haven't talked about John Cena being in the crowd at all.
I loved it.
You know, it was very divisive in my house. Some people hated it. They hated that they kept panning to John Cena, and I was like...
His reaction sounds are so good, though!
The only thing that sucked is that, like, they used the running thing to, like, blow up Charlotte and Asuka's spot. Like,
yeah, that was weird.
Like, but it could have done it halfway through, or, like,
or
you know,
right after.
Right after.
But I did like, too, that there was that moment of Asuka standing in the ring, like, what the fuck was that? And
I desperately wanted Asuka to take his seat and be like, well, I'm done with my match. I'll be sitting here now.
Well, I also liked that after he ran through, Asuka looked so confused and then said, straight to hard cam, was that John Cena?
I did not notice
Which
that.
made me laugh so hard.
I did not notice
so
that.
I liked that there was this, like, what the fuck was that? And that Charlotte then was like, yeah! I fucking won!
How did you feel about the Elias bit? In my household, people hated it.
I loved it. I would have rather seen Elias versus Cena.
I would have loved it more if Undertaker didn't show up. It's weird. I have complicated feelings. I think John Cena versus Elias should have just been it if they were going to do that. And also, it's clear to me, at least through dirt sheets or whatever, that like they had planned something else for Elias and it fell through, so they just put him in the segment, which this is the right segment to do it.
Agreed.
Especially to set up the next night on Raw for him being like insulted and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But so disappointed that it wasn't Biker Taker. Warwick about like left. He was so pissed. It was like almost worth it to see how mad Warwick was.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like it made no sense. But at least it was short, and at least Undertaker won.
Yeah, and you know what? I like the Taker one because that makes Cena just like everybody else, and I think that's what Cena wanted.
And also,
I really
Taker should go out on top.
Yeah,
and that if it's against John Cena.
Yes, I agree because they're again both part-timers,
right?
And it worked.
Also,
and Cena got to go over the whole show and got to win against Elias. It wasn't an official match, but he did beat him.
And who cares about that match because fucking Bobby Lashley is back!
Oh my god.
Also, I know I tweeted this, but I'm just gonna say this. If you only know Lashley from WWE, you're in for a treat because Lashley has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, but also as a character and also on mic work. Mm-hmm. In WWE and even in Impact, in the beginning of his Impact career, Lashley was not good at talking and didn't have a defined character other than like, I'm a big guy.
Yeah. Which
is obviously still his character. Like, Kenny King and MVP used to talk for him in Impact and whatever. Mm-hmm. Lashley is really good on the mic now. Mm-hmm. Lashley is a fully defined character. He is fucking great.
And I think Raw's the right place for him.
Absolutely. And also, like, being in a feud with, like, Elias or people of that caliber and, like, that upper mid-card right now is smart. Yeah. And I'm just very happy for him.
Yeah.
I really, like... Bobby Lashley, because I've been watching Impact for almost the entire time we've been recording, I have always liked Lashley, but watching his evolution and not having any context of him WWE, like I've seen stuff now, but like I didn't know him other than Impact, watching his growth, and I've really loved to come I've really come to love Lashley. And in my last Impact review, that was his last match, he had this feud with Brian Cage, who is also a big guy. Right. Two big guys that can tell a story, who can talk, and who can do more than just big guy stuff. Like, they can fly, they can do flips, they can do all that shit. So to have him go out in, like, this cool feud in Impact and then show up on Raw was just, like, kind of the same way, like, previous week EC3 had, like, a good exit on Impact and then had a good moment in WWE. Like, Lashley had a good exit on Impact and had a good moment in WWE, and I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy to see him.
And I was shocked. Like, I was telling Erin, like, for my article, I, like, got curious and looked up, like, Lashley rumors, and I didn't really see anything. So, like, and I didn't see any, like, you know, backstage stuff, and I was fully floored. Yeah, I didn't scream and cry like Ember, but I like, just grabbed my face like a kid, like, Home Alone style, and was like, ah!
Yeah, I freaked out and was like, oh my, because I had no idea. And then I found Michael knew because right before the show started, despite being able to keep this under check for so long, they let people into the arena while they were still test running the video packages. And so there was a photo posted of a dude who's sitting in a completely empty arena looking at the production truck, and there's just Bobby Lashley's name on the screen, like, oops. So it leaked, like, right before they started, but I didn't see it.
Yeah,
and so
I didn't see
Michael's like, oh, you didn't know? I'm like, no, I stay off of Twitter for a reason. There's a reason I don't look.
Smart. The following match was the tag team match with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match was really fun. I was shocked by the ending. Like, it's hard because, obviously, it's Daniel Bryan. Like, he came back. It's a really big deal, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's job was on the line. Like, I did not think... I thought they would definitely...
I did too.
...beat Shane.
Yeah.
Or we thought Daniel might turn.
Yeah.
And this was just, like, full babyface.
Yeah.
And Sami and Kevin lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So much so that they had to go to Raw.
I loved their segment on Raw. I thought it was very good.
I hear TNA is hiring.
Shocked. fucking took my breath away. I could not believe it.
First of all, hilarious that came from Angle.
Yes, of course. That's why it's funny.
It's not called TNA anymore, so they can get away with it. And immediately, the Impact Twitter, because good for them, they released a photo of their roster, really well graphically designed, and just with the hashtag We Are Impact. And I was like, what a clapback. And also good for you, because Impact is different than TNA. And I know we call it the TNA Minute, and I still haphazardly call it TNA, but it is different.
Yeah.
And it does deserve to be taken seriously, but also, LOL, this is a hilarious moment.
Also,
and also Sammy and Kevin's reaction, that's not exactly what we're looking for.
And also, there was a hard blackout on ever mentioning TNA existed for a decade. So the fact that they allowed Angle to mention it at all is a big deal, because Vince is right. If you mention them, it's advertising. You're telling them that you're telling people who may have no idea that this company exists, because there are a lot of people who only watch WWE and are only aware that WWE exists at all, that this is publicity for them. And so it's good that they were like, here's this clapback, but also thanks for mentioning it, that people will think to look for this. It was just very well done. And again, shocking that he would bring it up. I just thought it was great. And then that match that Kevin and Sammy had was incredible. It was so good, that they immediately just started, balls to the wall, beating the shit out of each other. It was incredible.
But also, what are they doing with Sammy and Kevin?
I think that Kevin is going to wind up back on Raw, and Sammy's going to go to NXT.
They're going to... Really?
Yes. They've talked for a long time about putting people back in NXT who aren't, who they just can't figure out what to do. Sammy is so fucking over in NXT, and they have no idea what to do with him. Also, let the man work a reduced schedule if you don't have any fucking clue what to do with him. Send him back and have him be the shitty heel who shows up.
Don't you get a shittier paycheck in NXT?
Not if he has a contract already with a main roster salary. They're not going to reduce it.
That's true.
He already has that shit. And, I know that they're shitty about redoing people's contracts, so it's not... And also, would he sign a contract that's LOL, sure, cut my pay by $100,000? I really doubt that. And, Triple H does love Sammy. And Sammy...
For a good reason, because Sammy is amazing.
And Sammy committed to this company and unmasked and did all this shit for them. NXT is a good place for Sammy. And... it would be shocking. It would feel shocking to have him show up back there, because no one goes back. No one, there are people who exist in a gray area, like Sasha and Kevin, where, we're here, we're there, but we're clearly coming up. No one has ever gone backwards. And it doesn't feel like it's backwards anymore. It doesn't feel like a downgrade.
It doesn't feel like a downgrade.
It wouldn't feel like a demotion in any way. It would, in some ways, feel like a promotion for Sammy, that, you get to go do this awesome shit with all of these people who, I want to see Sammy fight Aleister Black. I want to see Sammy fight EC3. I want to see Sammy fight Ricochet.
Also, what a great heel.
Yes.
To be
exactly.
I didn't get to... I came back here to fix your show.
Also, he was the ultimate babyface on NXT. He's never existed as a heel there, and it would be amazing to see him go back and do exactly that. I'm here to save you because I'm Sami Zayn. That's a great way. He's already a good heel, and I like the work that he's doing as a heel, but NXT is the place to hone that, and that's a great place to send him, and then have him come back later and be like, LOL, I'm back, motherfuckers. I just have a feeling that's what's gonna happen with him.
That would be interesting.
Kevin's
Or they'll just split them.
Yeah.
And one on SmackDown and one on Raw.
But why? Do what with either of them on either of those shows when they're separated?
We'll see.
One of them existing on the main roster alone, I think can work, but I think you really have to full separate them. Can't even be
what
on the
same
same
pay-per-views? What if Sammy just puts the mask on and is like, I'm El Generico, please hire me, and goes babyface?
He restarted his El Generico Twitter afterwards, that's shocking. That was a big fucking deal. 3 years of never using this Twitter, and then LOL got fired. Whoa, you're committed to this.
I would love if he came back and Kevin was like, "That's just Sam," and he was like, "No, I'm not. I'm El Generico.
I ran an orphanage in Mexico."
Raw Women's Championship match: Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss.
This ended the right way and was a good match.
With Mickie James selling like a motherfucker and falling into a chalk outline position.
Yes.
The position she fell in the last time Nia hit her, where her leg was up and she was just like, I am dead.
It was so good.
It was so funny.
I loved it. I thought it was excellent.
Also, I wanted it to kind of just be a straight squash match, but the, offense that Alexa got in still made Alexa look strong, and it made Nia's win more impactful.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially the next night when Ember debuted as Nia's tag partner, and Ember hit the Eclipse on Alexa, this long reigning champ, who still looks strong at WrestleMania even though she lost. Like, Ember debuting and hitting this former champ. And winning with an Eclipse was a big deal.
Absolutely. And because normally it's Nia would have tagged in and gotten the win, but, like, the fact that they let Ember get the pin feels significant. Absolutely. It makes me wonder, too, are they going to move Alexa back to SmackDown? Are we finally going to get Alexa versus Charlotte?
I don't know. I think Alexa will stay on Raw and just kind of, like, just not be in the championship picture for a little. I mean, she has a rematch.
That's true.
But it'll be interesting.
Nikki and Alexa could be a tag, too.
They absolutely could.
There are a lot of possibilities with the directions they seem to be going with the women. And, like, also, Nia is the first Samoan woman to ever hold the women's championship, which is a big fucking deal.
Also, Nia's new gear is great.
Oh my god, I loved it. I love it. God. And I love that she has, like, sheer panels on her legs now and has this, like, boob window. It's perfect.
Nia released, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter or something. She was like, I went through a gear change and it's a big deal for me because it shows more of my body and, but I am empowered and I'm more confident and comfortable. And it was like the visual of what she did in comparison with the storyline and her release statement was like a lot and really emotional. And good for fucking her.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And also, like, somebody at this party was like, or this watch party was like, I don't know, I don't think Nia's that good. And I was like, I think you're wrong. I think you are led to underestimate her because of her booking, but I think that you are wrong.
And Dana's the wrong comparison, but in the similar vein where, like, every time Dana gets to wrestle, you can tell she gets better and she works her ass off. Nia's the same way, but Nia gets to wrestle a lot more.
And Nia's good on the mic.
Yes.
Nia was good at being a babyface and shutting Alexa down, but still being Nia. Whereas a lot of times when somebody switches from babyface to heel, especially to babyface, they lose their personality.
Yes.
And they lose what makes them, like, them. And Nia was able to be Nia and condescending and a little sassy and, like, smart, but still fully be a babyface. And that is a talent.
Absolutely. And I also feel like I've heard a lot of people complain about the way that Nia talks. If you are one of those people who finds Nia's voice annoying because she has kind of a high nasally voice, you should examine whether you have ever felt that way about a man.
I don't think her voice sounds terrible at all.
I've heard a lot of people complain about it.
Then those people are not listening to this podcast. We don't have particularly pleasant voices.
Well, I also feel like you can hear Nia talk on a promo where she's kind of, like, yelling and think, like, ugh, nasally. Literally,
she sounds nasally at all.
She does have a nasally voice, but I don't think so. I think it's just the way that her voice sits in her upper register, and so it, like, she speaks in a forward way that kind of comes out of her soft palate, so it sounds kind of nasally because her voice is kind of high already. But seriously, if you are like, something about her voice is grating, and I can't figure out what it is, examine whether you've ever felt that way about a man, and if you haven't, really think about what it is about her voice that irritates you. Perhaps it's just that she has a very female voice. And that's something that you should think about. Like, I've heard let's be real, a lot of men say that they find her voice irritating, and I really think it's just she has a very female voice that doesn't fit, hard air quotes, doesn't fit with the way that she looks.
I like the way women sound, so maybe I just haven't noticed. WWE Championship match, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is the part of the night where I was like, I'm tired.
This card is long that by the time you get here, it feels like a slog.
And this was supposed to be one of the, quote, matches of the night, but, like...
It was good.
It was good. It was just, like, it's never going to live up to its past one. The hype was too big, but it's also not about the match in the same way that the tag match on NXT, like, it's about the turn, it's not about the match.
Absolutely. And so it felt very disappointing, like, the second Asian Royal Rumble winner just lost. It felt like a big balloon got popped.
But... as, like, we've talked about this before, Nick my fiance only really watches, WWE. Like, he has never gotten Shinsuke. He's just been, like, he's got a cool look and he's, like, a fine wrestler, but, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why people are this excited. Like I said with Asuka, it feels like the chains have been released and he is free. Like, even from the moment where he did the low blow and the, like, stuff after that, to his promo with Renee, which was excellent.
So good.
To ruining the, quote, dream match of Daniel and AJ. Like,
so good.
In this past chunk of time, like, that's the most Shinsuke I've seen since he premiered on the main roster.
Absolutely.
He worked as a babyface in NXT in a way he doesn't work on the main roster. And,
Absolutely.
Like, AJ has been a face for a while. If they're going to keep Daniel as a face too, Shinsuke is...
They need him as a heel. Absolutely.
Especially, also, like, that promo, like, with the wink, like, I'm very sorry, wink. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
No speak English.
What a turn to on the, like, all the racist nonsense. Like, Shinsuke can't speak English. First of all, Shinsuke speaks really good English.
Yes.
He just has a thick accent.
Also,
and you're a dick.
I also love, too, that they released this propaganda piece that's 37 minutes long about Shinsuke and how he's lovable right before the Mania, so it felt like he was going to win. Also, that propaganda piece was really good. I would recommend watching it. But it's funny to watch now because it's like, here's this dude who's really committed to wrestling and loves to surf and is super chill and is really excited to fight AJ. And then you get to the other side of Mania and now he's this shitty heel and I love it. I think it's so good. Also, like, if you ever watched him in New Japan, he's a spectacular heel. He's so good at it. And that's part of why I fell in love with Shinsuke is because he just understands how to be a douchebag.
Quote unquote weirdness of him works better as a heel.
Completely agree.
Because it's like, American audiences, like, weirdo.
American audiences are fucking weird and are like, I don't like it. I don't get it. Why?
Also, like, just get your shit together and figure out how to yell. I'll always be mad about it.
Makes me so angry.
He does a whole thing, like, he's telling you when to do it.
They also cut it off for Mania. So there was, like, this weird moment where he looked like, oh, I don't get to do this thing. Which, at the moment...
he did it. They just, like, he did it.
He hit it, but they turned his music off. Like, straight up turned his music off.
I also think they turned the audience mics off.
Oh, they for sure did. They do that.
I'm very excited to see what happens with Shinsuke.
I love it. I also love how much he loves hitting AJ with the low blow. I love it. It's so hilarious and overdone. Like, I love it. I think it's great.
Raw Tag Team Championships, Cesaro and Sheamus with Braun Strowman and Nicholas.
Braun Strowman and no partner originally, which was...
First of all, we did not have a music break. We didn't really have any silly stuff. We didn't have any audience interaction. We didn't have any of this stuff. Am I sad that Neville didn't come out? Sure.
Yes.
Am I sad that it wasn't Joe? No, because he premiered the next night. But in the moment, sure.
Yeah.
Did he walk past No Way Jose and Trent Seven? Yeah. No Way Jose premiered the next night. Whatever.
Yeah.
This was a moment for them to get the audience involved.
Yes.
And, you know, they do all this Make-A-Wish kid stuff. I know that Nicholas is not a Make-A-Wish kid, but, like,
felt like it.
Other kids seeing a kid do this, like, this is this, like, all WrestleManias have a silly moment. The Rock set a bunch of shit on fire, and that was dumb. What's better than The Rock setting a bunch of shit on fire? Making it feel like anybody in the audience can participate. Also, Nicholas was hilarious, and
he
clearly
did a great job.
And also, it's clear, like, okay, so we found out that he's one of the ref's kids, and he's been around this business forever, but, like, even if he was like, yeah, I'm totally down. Like, 70,000 people's a lot. And he clearly was scared. And also, like, Cesaro and Sheamus's, like, faces and, like...
Cesaro looking at him like, what the fuck? Am I supposed to clothesline him?
And you take this monster of a man who is dominating people in the ring, who is a beast, and make him a babyface. That is, between that and the Mixed Match Challenge... You have done something almost impossible.
Absolutely, totally agree.
And then to follow it up the next night where they have to drop the titles.
Oh my god.
Because Nicholas has to stay in school was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Also, we all complained that Braun didn't have shit to do for Mania. He had a great Mania moment.
And won a belt!
Won a belt and dropped it, and now he's out of the tag picture and we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Absolutely.
And now he can go back to doing other stuff. He got a great moment. And, you know, people were like, well, Sheamus is probably going to retire soon and this is sad for him. You think Sheamus wouldn't say something if he was like, look, I'm about to retire?
Yeah.
It's clear. Sheamus and Cesaro are fun, and they're fun wrestlers, and they do serious stuff and are serious wrestlers, but they've had tons of comedy moments.
Yes.
This honestly was one of the highlights of the night and was really fun. Everybody in my house popped the loudest, and you can say, like, well, people aren't taking the tag team serious, but, like, I don't know, it felt serious to me in a silly way because it brought the audience in and made them a part of it, and it wasn't long, and honestly, you needed a break at this point. Everyone was tired and stupid.
Like you said, we didn't have any of the normal, like, music break, whatever. We had the, like, Legends
Elias thing.
Well, we had the Legends introduction.
And the Hall of Fame.
But that's short.
Right.
It wasn't long. They were very careful not to do that.
Long.
Yeah, and I thought they did a really good job of integrating it. And, like, it felt very weird to be like, at the end of Mania, yes, it did feel like they shit all over the division. But then to have them drop it the next day in the most adorable promo ever.
It was an adorable promo, but also to elongate Sheamus's career a little bit longer without having to make him wrestle a bunch.
Exactly, yes.
You got to show off the rest of the division right before the Superstar shakeup, right before shit goes down. The Revival won the next night. It was the Revival versus, It was Revival versus the Club. That was a good match. The Revival looked fucking strong, which they needed to do. AOP debuted that night. Mm-hmm. They weren't a part of this tournament, but they debuted that night. And then Matt and Bray won over Titus Worldwide. And so you're solidifying Matt and Bray as a tag team, and you're going to get Revival versus Bray and Matt for this #1 contendership. And then you get a good match. Like, it weirdly, like, shut the division down, made a really fun Mania moment, brought the audience in, and almost, like, jump-started the division.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can be like, people don't take it seriously, but, like, fuck you, it was a great moment, and Nicholas forever.
Also, I love, too, that, like, I thought it was a particularly good move on Braun's part to be like, once Nicholas finishes school, we're coming back for these belts.
Yes.
Brilliant. Super, super good on his part, because it could have just been like, oh, he's got the 4th grade he needs to finish, LOL. Sorry, Nicholas. But the fact that Braun was like, yes, this is my tag partner, and we won together, and when he's done with Recess, we're gonna win these belts again. Like, I loved that. I thought it was great. And also, I think that it's good to point out, too, that Sheamus has a serious injury. He has spinal stenosis. He's going to have to retire at some point very soon. And the fact that they trusted Braun to treat a child delicately enough that he could tag him. Like, Braun hitting a person's hand is not a gentle action. He's a large man. Nicholas is a small child. The fact that he could even tag him at all and not hurt him speaks to the way that Braun works with people and makes me feel good about the fact that he was with Sheamus, who clearly needs to be protected in a way. And Braun can do it. And I like that. I like that Braun is versatile enough and has shown us, like, he is a top tier performer.
If you told me 6 months ago that I would be all in on fucking Braun and I want to buy Get These Hands shirt, like,
I know.
Fucking between the elf thing and Mixed Match Challenge and Nicholas, but, like, it doesn't diminish him as a wrestler because he's still a big, scary fucking wrestler. Also, did you see the picture of his dad, which is just Braun with a white beard?
No.
Please Google. It's Braun with no hair and a white beard. It's the same person.
Weird.
But, like, that's his dad, and it makes sense.
God.
I thought it was great.
That's hilarious.
All right. Final match of the night. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. The rumor is that Vince called an audible and changed the match in halfway through. Roman was supposed to win, but Brock won.
Yeah.
There are two theories. One, he didn't want Roman to win with a crimson mask,
which is dumb.
Or two, that he didn't want Roman to win because the crowd wasn't, quote, over enough on him.
Which is insane. That crowd would have flipped out if Roman had won, especially with the crimson mask. If Roman had held that belt up, bloody as all hell, that crowd would have cheered for him. Absolutely. Because people hate Brock. They hate him because he's terrible. He's a piece of shit. Ugh.
I don't know if everybody hates him. We definitely hate him.
I mean, I know that there are people who are over on Brock, but also, like, Brock is a lazy piece of shit. Like,
for sure.
Is for sure a lazy piece of shit. And also, like, there's a bunch of talk that he went backstage and immediately got into a fight with Vince and threw the belt at Vince.
But he did resign.
Here's the thing. There
are rumors. They say that he's signed for a couple of days. They're saying that he's signed for a long time. Like, who fucking knows? He should not be signed at all.
They're dropping all these rumors that Dana White confirms that he's coming back to the UFC, but then has to finish out this contract. They don't say how long his contract is. Like, the other thing, Willow, I want to say her last name is McKay. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly, but she's a film critic who's also involved in wrestling Twitter, and she had a really good observation that Brock is like a month and a half from beating Punk's championship reign.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
And, like, I don't know that they purposefully are gonna have, or at the time were like, we've decided you're going to break this, but it totally feels like a WWE move to have, like, realized post-Mania, oh shit, we can wipe this record. We just have to keep it on Brock for a month and a half. It does feel like they're willing to do that. And it also feels like they're willing to sacrifice Roman in this steel cage to then have Joe and Brock. Joe could beat Brock.
Joe should have beat Brock last time.
Yeah, Joe should beat Brock this time.
Joe's
promo was so good. Also, like, I don't understand how they choose to write Roman. How can you have him lose this match, have him call out Brock,
crimson mask,
have him call out Brock as a lazy piece of shit, lose with this fucking crazy crimson mask, come out, and then just get dressed the fuck down by Joe? Like, and Roman had not shit to say about it. That's the weird thing, is they didn't give him a chance to respond. It's just him sulking around the ring like, come say it to my face, man, come say it to my face. Like, you just look like a tiny little baby bitch right now. And it's amazing to me that they think that this is gonna get him over.
Sacrifice Roman, man. You guys have ruined it.
They really did. Put him in the Shield. Let him just be in the Shield. That's fine. Like, Roman as a singles wrestler, you done fucked it up. You fucked it up so bad.
All up.
You can't sacrifice him to Brock and expect people to be cool with it forever. Like,
continuously sacrifice him
exactly.
To Brock. Not once.
And I think they think, like, oh, if he continues to lose, he'll be an underdog eventually.
No.
Sorry, guys. He's too hot. He's too hot to be an underdog ever. This was the only time it would have worked. The only time to have him come out and be like, I'm a labor agitator. Fuck this dude for never showing up to work. Like, it was the only time that people would have been like, you're right, you are the underdog here. And so now see him going to the steel cage like, I roll. Like, you already blew your load. It's too late now. Like, he should have won. And I liked too that Roman was like, oh, Vince couldn't even smarten me up to this damn thing. Like, that's real. That shit feels like, not necessarily that he was saying that without permission, but like, it does feel very real to know, like, this did change mid-match. And
this is bullshit.
And also, it would be nice to see Roman really let go on that frustration of, y'all are fucking me up. Like, he kind of hits that line of, like, Vince doesn't let me, Vince doesn't do this, to just have him finally be like, you guys fucked this up.
I'm over it.
Yeah, like, I need that.
I want him to go to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup.
Yes, absolutely. They'll never, ever do it.
It would feel like a refresh for
him.
him.
It would be shocking. It would feel shocking to put him on there. You know what? I would love to see him fight Daniel Bryan. Because it's never happened, and it feels weird, and it would be different. Like,
I'd like it to see him fight anybody on SmackDown.
Yeah, like, I'm just tired of him seeing the same matches from him over and over. Him and Joe will be great. I'm fine with that. I think it'll be fun, but also, like, figure out what you're doing with Roman and fucking commit to it.
Fucking figure it out. Ugh. All right, final WrestleMania thoughts. WrestleMania being all 3 days.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I think that they did a really good job crafting their stories. We said this the last couple years. Mania is no longer a 1-day event. It's a 3-day event. You really have to watch all this.
It's a 4-day event if you take in consideration NXT because you want to see what happens. So you like the call-ups make sense.
Exactly. Too. But if you have to cut a day, like main roster television, Mania
for sure
is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you really do have to watch everything.
Because honestly, Tuesday and Monday are better than Sunday,
and they want them to be because
they're free.
Well, because no one pays for pay-per-views anymore. Well, it's not true. People do still pay for pay-per-views.
Those people are dumb.
Well, it's people who are too poor to be able to afford TVs that can convert to play the network. That's a big part of it. Those are the people who still buy the...
But that pay-per-views are like $60.
Yeah, I know. There are a lot of people who still have to do it because they have no way to watch it on their main television.
Huh.
Yeah, it's... Because I looked into it, I was like, who's buying these? And then to actually look into the demographics, it's just people who can't... It's expensive to be poor. That's what it is.
It's expensive to be poor.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
For sure is.
And so
Did you wear that hat to work?
I did, yes.
It's an obnoxious hat to wear to work.
I mean, I take it off once I get there. Okay. I just have my headphones on all day. I wear the Flash hat and my fucking bright-ass blue gold
You are offensive to look at.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%. I'm wearing like 8 different colors right now, and none of the patterns match. 1,000%.
You are fully offensive to look at.
Yeah, well, that's my life. That's how I exist in the world. But I like that Mania exists in this way, but it does feel very frustrating to watch Mania and be like, what's happening here? I don't understand. But I think that they've embraced the fact that what they really want, because most people watch it on the network, is ratings. They really need ratings on Mondays and especially Tuesdays. And so I think
good ratings this week.
Yeah, and so I think it's smart that they're like, this is how we do this. We set it up, and then we knock them down, and we knock them down again. Like, it's smart as a business perspective because of the way that they make their money now to do it this way. But as someone who's been a fan for a long time, it feels frustrating. But overall, I get it, and I like it. And the more that they do this, and it becomes common knowledge that that's how they do it, I think it'll feel more natural.
Just talking about this has made me exhausted.
I know, right? Going through this whole goddamn, 9.5 hours of wrestling, basically.
All right, we did it. We fucking nailed it. If you're in Chicago and you're going to Rise or Shimmer, say hi to us.
Yes.
If you're on the internet, please follow us on Twitter at Stella_Cheeks.
At Urgency.
Or at Not Your Demo Pod. You can find us on iTunes, where you should rate, review, and subscribe. Mm-hmm. We haven't gotten a review in a minute. I know there are some international ones out there. It's just complicated and laborious. I will find them eventually. If you are in the United States, please review them because I can see those ones immediately.
You can send us an email at notyourdemo@gmail.com. We have some emails that we just have neglected to look recently. We'll get to them.
Or maybe we won't. I don't know. It's been a lot. We'll try. We try with the questions and the emails and the ads, but if we don't get to them, it's not because we're like trying to snuff you. Yeah. It's just like
it's not a fuck you.
There's a lot going on.
Our show's already 2 hours long.
It was Mania week. Well, we're going to be under 2 hours.
Yeah, right. We respected your time going into Mania. We do not respect it on the other side. All right.
The reminder that you can support us and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/notyourdemopod. You can also find us on kitchenseats.com where you should click around and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, go read Stella's not TNA, Impact.
Impact. We should be respectful of the Impact review.
Yes, the Impact review.
They do deserve it.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm exhausted. We gotta go.
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
2 words for you.
Brie Mad. Also, it was wonderful to see Brie after Daniel's match. Brie Mad.
Brie forever. Side note, there was like a friend of a friend here, and he was great, but he like kept being like, Daniel Bryan's my favorite, and I was like, in this house?
We respect Brie Bella.
And he was like, I'm so happy about it. And I was like, just remember that Brie Bella is the reason that your dreams are coming true. Brie Bella said, if you fight for your dreams, they'll fight for you. Daniel Bryan didn't.
He repeated it.
Brie Bella is who we worship here.
Yes.
Okay?
Exactly.
Okay. Brie Mode! Brie Mode!